What is up? Happy Thursday. So Mike Walz is gone. Do you guys know who he is? Probably not. So we're moving on. Could you pick him out of a lineup? No. Could you guys? If I showed you a picture, could you?
I could, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Not many people could. He's the NSA. Well, we should know what he looks like. Should be a secret. Should be like a ninja. It's part of being the NSA. Shh.
Well, we're also we probably educate ourselves a little more.
A little bit more than the average person. Yeah. But if I wandered, like if I went to, anywhere, right? If I go downtown to Broadway tonight and I walk into, any of the fine adult saloons that are imbibing with their carafes of beer, and I showed them a picture of Mike Walz.
You don't drink beer out of a carafe. You drink it out of a pitcher.
Yeah, but you were using your thesaurus words yesterday. I want to make sure we're
I
good.
still am.
And it's just, I just don't think, what matters? It's the economy. That's it. Like for everybody else, the economy, those things are the things that matter. Like here today, we had the State of the City?
It is the 62nd annual State of Metro Address, Brother Chad. And let me tell you, everything is just peachy king in Nashville.
That's right. You know what's good?
Except for the fact that a lot of people are going to have higher property taxes.
That is more important than just, like now.
And like you said, brother, that is all that matters.
So what are they talking? Because I know it's going to be good for everybody. I love it when they always pitch that. This is going to be great for everyone.
Oh, everybody's going to love
You're going to love this. All right. You guys are going to pay more. Isn't that good for everybody?
What do you think about that?
What? Yeah. So what are we talking about, Rays? Is it going to be a surprise? It's going to be a December surprise.
Well, here's how the mayor's office is wording this. It is a combined property tax rate lower than that of 2021 to 2025. However, not everyone's going to benefit.
Okay, what does that even mean?
I have no
idea.
There
you go. That feels government speak right there.
Yeah, the fact that not everyone will benefit means how many ever not everyone is, your property tax is going up.
It's time for all you richies to pay your fair share.
Oh, yeah, you jerks.
Richies.
You guys know who you are, you homeowners. So, that's what I'm trying to figure out. Like, is it going to be 30%?
That's what everybody said it was good. That's the critics say
it'll be what it needs to be, gentlemen.
And, hey, everybody, let's remember, this is good for you. This is going to be so good for you. What exactly is it going to be good for? Are we getting more stuff? Oh, this isn't for your stupid choo-choo train, right? That's another tax. That already isn't enough because the feds, I saw that they tried to blame everything on Trump.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so that's good.
That's what all these cities are going to do, man. Hey, guys, it's a great time to raise property taxes right now. We'll just blame it on Trump.
Blame it on Trump. We'll blame it on Trump.
The killer thing about it to me, though, is that all of these liberals in Nashville will just be like, well, yeah, that's what we need. That's how things should be, is taxes should be more. Maybe no?
Maybe. No. Again, it's the tax world is always a frustrating thing because you want to tell everybody, hey, your houses are going up. Isn't that great? And all Democrats in particular look at is, hey, look at all the money we're going to get for our programs that don't work. And one person just said it's going to be like a ghost town. Don't do what Detroit did, which is put everybody on the outskirts of Detroit. Price everybody out of the market through your taxing. But I'm curious about, hey, this is going to be really good for some of you. And for others, not so much.
Get ready, renters.
Yeah, that's the other side of it. And it's always going to be about affordable housing. It's going to be about this. Safety. We need safety. We need more safety officers. You should call them crime fighters. Safety officers. They're crime fighters.
Safety officers.
So, yeah, it is. I tried to listen to some of it today, but the amount of crap that goes on before Freddie ever got to the stage was insane. There was like an orchestra there.
A lot of self-aggrandizing BS.
A lot of that. A lot of the, too much pomp and circumstance. Just show up, tell everybody what they want to know, and leave. That's what you need to do. That's what people want.
Just be honest, man.
Yeah. Well, we have a country that is built on people being told what they want to hear, not the truth. That's why it sucks. Just tell me what's going on. Tell me how much you're going to take, and then tell me where you're going to waste it. Because that's what you're going to do in most cases. And then tell me the baloney of your 7 plans to build affordable housing, of which all of it seems vague and just pie in the sky.
Well, if they get too specific, you might be able to call them out in a lie.
That's a good point right there. That is a good point. If you tell everybody, well, it's the whole point. Like science is that way. Science, the whole thing with science is you get your paper published so everybody could peer review it and put your stuff to the test. And Freddie probably doesn't want that. Again, nothing's perfect, but yeah, I didn't think it was going to be a good one today. I know Matt was down there. Are they protesting everywhere today, too?
Well, they had about, looks like a couple of dozen protesters out there holding signs and chanting no new taxes. And in order to get in to where the mayor was delivering the 62nd annual State of Metro address, you had to walk right through him.
Oh, my Lord. Were they not invited in with their little things?
Oh, I think they were able to go in. They're just out there trying to let everybody know.
I would have showed up with Free Palestine just for the hell of it. You guys here to Free Palestine too? Oh, you're here for taxes. Oh, God. There's always one. Now, I know there's supposed to be a lot of more protests today at Tesla's.
Oh, really?
Because
this is May Day,
yes,
right?
May Day.
Yeah. 1st of May.
So this is where the workers take back the production and source to combat the evil wealth and oligarchs.
Yeah.
So there's that. But the funny thing is,
I just realized we only have 4 days before we're allowed to eat guacamole again.
Cinco de Mayo. Let me tell you something. That was a big deal in Albuquerque, man.
Oh yeah, in New Mexico, totally. Same thing with Arizona.
Yeah.
We can do anything Mexican-oriented on Cinco de Mayo without it being cultural appropriation, right?
Nope.
We can't?
Nope.
So I can't eat my guacamole?
You have to get it signed off by an actual Mexican.
I need somebody from the audience to tell me
Then
it's
I have
okay
to go and
have
explain to
guacamole.
everybody Cinco de Mayo is not Mexican Independence Day. It is the freeing of Puebla from the French.
I don't care what the reason is. I just need my guacamole.
Really? I don't like guacamole.
How can you not like
That's
guacamole?
right. Chaz already said he didn't like guacamole.
You're weird.
So somebody's turning off our show because of our intro music.
Oh, yeah. Brian Johnson.
Yeah, AC/DC. We're a lunchtime listener. We're gonna go to somewhere else because AC/DC. Well, I know a lot of people feel that way. I mean, they're mostly a bit older. But last time I checked, I have a feeling they're going to be doing a concert here very soon.
They are.
Yep.
What do you bet they're not playing a tiny theater?
Well,
That's a good bet.
it's just a few tens of thousands.
What happens if a couple of days before the show, Angus just shows up in one of these bars downtown and starts playing?
It's
That'd be
happened
great.
before.
That'd be awesome.
That would be absolutely awesome.
That would be. Here's the thing, too. Nashville seems like a city where they would do something like that, where they would show up and go cruise in, go to Kid Rock's bar and just start jamming, or play one of those things where you're walking by and it's just that band that's there every Tuesday night,
Yeah.
And
And it just happens to be Angus.
there's this little old lady, and then she picks up a guitar and like, oh, my God, it's Angus. He does look like a little old
I don't
lady.
like it, man. I don't like seeing Angus this old.
Who's the
And he's really
gray-haired
not even that
schoolmarm?
old. relatively speaking.
what is
He's
he
in his
s-
60s.
Yeah. Yeah. He's 60 something, 62, 60. He's not Bill
How
Belichick.
old was Malcolm?
Malcolm. He was older than
Yeah.
Angus.
And he died of what? Parkinson's? Dementia?
Dementia.
Yeah, dementia.
Yeah.
Was it really dementia or was he just out there?
No, it was dementia.
Yeah. He had struggled.
Angus said he actually he could watch him degrading in terms of his memory, and just the songs started slipping away. He couldn't even play guitar anymore.
No, that's horrible.
Terrible, man.
Man. Tell you what, though. Those guys live. How many lives do you think they lived?
Well, Angus is a teetotaler.
Yeah.
So he may not have. Bon, we know.
Yeah.
Bon Scott, you know.
Angus is 70, by the way.
Oh, he's 70?
Yeah.
I thought he was still in his 60s. Yeah, that's right. He's 13 years older than I was.
Yeah. So,
Or I am.
so he's 70, and he's living a good life.
Oh,
He
yeah.
is. He's living a good life. But yeah, you're right about the. He is a teetotaler, but smokes a lot of cigarettes.
Smokes a lot of cigarettes. And I got to say, man, in that one movie, the first movie they put out, Let There Be Rock, they're interviewing Angus, and his eyes do not look like a teetotaler's
No,
eyes.
I think he is a teetotaler now.
Yeah.
I don't think he was.
Probably Bond's death that gave him a little wake up
Yeah,
call.
they said they did. That scared them a lot because that brought mortality into something where you wouldn't think
Wow.
about mortality.
I can't imagine Bon Scott died of drinking 3 bottles of liquor a day.
I can't believe that either. That's insane. I
What
can't
a-
believe he lived as long as he did.
Exactly.
I think that's
Same with John Bonham.
all those guys. I mean, you Keith Moon, you hear stories about it. Ozzy, the fact that Ozzy's made it this long,
Oh, yeah.
or Keith Richards and stuff like that. You know, you hear a story about Ozzy where they were partying with Motley Crue, right?
Yes.
And he got to the point where they're all like, "We're out." Like this guy's, he's in another world.
Yeah. He's like snorting like handfuls of cocaine.
Didn't he snort ants?
Yeah, he snorted ants to try to one up the guys in Motley.
Yeah, that pretty much put him there. Like, you know what? You win.
Okay.
All right, have a good day.
All right, Oz.
Can you imagine being that wasted, though, that you're doing that and it seems completely rational to do so?
Yeah, that's probably not good. Now he's got Parkinson's, right? Is that what he has?
Yeah, he's got Parkinson's.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. I don't like it. I don't like it.
either. I don't like it either. That's a tough thing. It's a tough thing when you see heroes start to struggle like that. Coming up, a bunch of stuff to get to today. That baseball thing was crazy. We're going to talk a little bit about that. And just now, are we going to have an overreaction at stadiums? A bunch of other things to get to. If you're missing the show, grab the podcast. Chad Benson Show, Super Talk 99.7. Let me tell you something, guys. Rough Greens, ruffgreens.com. Vitamins, minerals, probiotics, omega 3, 6, 9, all this incredible stuff packed into a supplement that you give your dog on a daily basis. I want you to try a Jumpstart trial bag for free. They send it out to you. And all you have to do, and you have to change your dog's food or anything. It's a supplement that you put right on top of your dog's food. It is awesome. They're going to love the taste. You'll love what it does for them. And take the 90-day challenge. Within 90 days, you're going to see things like energy levels through the roof. Their coat, their fur is going to be stronger, shinier, and it's not going to be shedding so much. You're going to find that they're, especially if they're older, those limps that they had, some of that sore stuff, maybe not moving as good, they're going to start to limber up in ways you thinking, I never thought that would happen. Digestive tract, heart health, all's going to improve. Within 90 days, you're going to see a huge change in your dog. Try a Jumpstart trial bag of Rough Greens today. All it's going to cost you is shipping. That's a few bucks. And take the 90-day challenge. 1 scoop a day. Keep that vet away. Go to roughgreens.com/Chad. Use my code Chad. Wellness of Nashville. The Wellness Institute of Nashville is going to get you well. They are. Let me tell you something. Backs, don't mess with them. So right now, Dr. Mitchell, Dr. Ashley, Big 47 going on right now. 47% off non-surgical spinal decompression. It's going on all year. So you're going to save 47% right there in honor of President Trump. So how does non-spinal decompression work? Simple and easy. These amazing machines they have there heal the disc by opening the disc so that the blood and nutrition gets to the area, starts to heal it. It's incredible. They can do it with their knees as well. But if you've had issues with your back and you've tried everywhere else, you haven't tried Dr. Mitchell, Dr. Ashley at the Wellness Institute of Nashville, shame on you. Call them today. Tell them I sent you. 615-246-5009. 615-246-5009. Or look them up online at painisbad.com.
All right, we got a listener who says we've got debris in the road 40 westbound at mile marker 207. Also looking at a crash off on the right shoulder 65 southbound before I-24. As far as news goes, we'll tell you more about the No New Taxes protest in downtown Nashville. The first major White House staff shakeup of President Trump's second term, and Carfax is at the center of a scam. These stories and more coming up at 12:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Michael Walz, the National Security Advisor, is expected to leave his post as National Security Advisor. There could possibly be other people who work under him who will be leaving as well. We know that President Trump, we're told by sources, is expected to make an announcement about this change soon.
Bye. So you win your reelection campaign in Florida as a congressman. You then get the opportunity to work in the Trump administration. So you leave the seat, you come over, you go through all the rigmarole, you get the job, then you get canned. How'd that work out for you? 100 days in, the NSA guy is gone.
It is interesting how that Atlantic reporter ended up in that chain.
Of course it is.
I mean,
it is. Well, because they all have sources and people they know and they
Right.
talk to.
right.
But how he ended up in the chain was stupid. But the fact that they were using something, any kind of phone apparatus like that, where you're the NSA, you're supposed to have super sneaky crap.
Right.
You're not supposed to have crap that I would have. I do have it. I do have Signal. I also have Discord.
I got to get that Discord,
Yeah, I got a lot of, but
I guess.
yeah. I'm surprised they were using WhatsApp.
What?
Follow me on WhatsApp, bro.
You two want Discord and you want Discord and Signal for your spy mechanisms. I just want the Aston Martin, the 007 drivers.
They were using Facebook Messenger.
That'd be so great.
They're just texting the pilots. Okay,
We
drop
are
bombs
going to
now.
totally attack the Houthis. It's going to be awesome. From the sky. So, yeah. And the fact that one of the reasons he, basically stuck for a little while longer than he should have is because Trump is like, I can't blow him out now, because if I blow him out, the media is going to think they had a part in blowing him out and that everybody wanted me to blow him out. So then I'm going to look weak and they're going to think they can come back to me again and again.
They're going to make it where he has agreed to leave.
Yeah, of course.
He's agreed to. They're going in a different direction.
Yeah. It's hey man, I could fire you or you could jump. So those are your choices. I'll give you a reference that you worked here. And they're going to, but the other thing besides that though, apparently he was not very liked at the NSA. That was a problem that people said had emerged for a while. I was watching Mark Halperin say that he didn't have a lot of fans over there. So now they're talking about Steve Witkoff, the Fighting Witkoffs. I don't know what that.
Now, isn't Witkoff's in the negotiations
Yeah.
with Russia?
With
isn't
Russia,
he?
yeah. And that's why yesterday, I guess there was like a hit piece. Somebody said it was it the New York Post? They put out a hit piece about him, that he is an idiot and he doesn't know how to do this and blah, 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 blah. I don't know. Seems like a pretty sharp guy's worth $1 billion. Seems to be doing okay, right?
Yeah.
Trying to negotiate. I mean,
He's not worried about property tax increases.
no, he's not. So I wonder so there's only 12 people there?
No, there was a couple. It looks like a couple of dozen folks out there. chanting and holding up signs.
Should have held a sign that says, I would have had a better sign, but my property taxes are going up.
Don't forget, we got Afton coming in, Representative Afton Bing coming in at 1 to talk about Real ID.
Yeah. Real ID. Bell doesn't have a Real ID.
I do not, but I have all the paperwork collected for it.
I went last night, so I went online because my wife needs to get some stuff before she can get the Real ID, like stuff that she didn't know she had to have, or this wasn't the right thing, or you need the, sorry, it can't be a copy. It's got to be the raised, this. And
got to have an embossed.
it's embossed and raised
what do
and
you
whatnot.
call it?
For your
Notary.
Notary, yeah.
Embossed notary.
So she's got to have some stuff sent to her. And I was like, you could still
Hey,
fly,
that's your
though.
own fault for getting married. If she didn't want to have all the paperwork, she shouldn't have got married.
Well, yeah. Well, not that, the thing is, we didn't want to travel with all of our stuff. And we were never figuring the Real ID was ever going to actually come to fruition anyways. Only 21 years later. But the interesting thing is, I was online looking. I'm like, you can still fly. You go there. You take your birth certificate or whatever, or your marriage, and you fill out a piece of paper, and they do extra screenings and get on the airplane.
Yeah, I mean, they might have to separate you out of the line for a little bit, but you'll still be able to fly. But everybody will be pissed off at you because you held the flight up.
So, but it only, you get there a little bit early. They tell you get there half an hour early.
Right.
And you go through, and it's no big deal. It's not like you can't fly or travel. And I still don't know what getting the star is going to stop a terrorist if they really want to take down an airplane. Dude, I was totally going to blow that plane up, but now that I have a star on my license, I can't do it.
Thankfully, none of these IDs are forgeable. Whew.
Nope, not in America. Coming up, baseball gone rogue last night with a fan. Do you think alcohol was involved? We'll talk a little bit about that. Among other things, it is the Chad Benson Show, Super Talk 99.7.
12:30 on the dot. I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. We've got some pockets of heavy rain moving across Nashville right now. Some of the heaviest going to be right there in North Nashville. Then you got Nashboro Village and Antioch getting hammered by some rain. Looks like we are under a level 2 out of 5 risk for some of this stuff to go severe. We'll keep an eye on it for you. Full forecast in 5 minutes. Right now in Nashville. Dozens of protesters outside where Mayor Freddie O'Connell presented his budget at the 62nd annual State of Metro address. The budget includes a combined property tax rate lower than that of 2021 to 2025, but the mayor's office says not everyone is going to benefit. Here's Channel 4's Dryden Quigley.
Now, the mayor did talk about this, saying that even as we're setting the lowest overall property tax rate in Nashville since 1972, some Nashvillians will pay more in property taxes. He also said that the low rate helps, but it won't totally offset the market realities of the past 5 years, which is the last time the tax rate was increased.
Multiple reports say President Trump's expected to announce the departure of National Security Advisor Mike Walz, possibly Walz's top deputy from the Trump administration, could be due to adding that reporter to a signal chat with top Trump officials discussing a U.S. military strike on Houthi rebels in Yemen. The White House and Walz have not commented on the moves, and these sources that multiple media outlets are citing have cautioned this move is not final until Trump announces it. Carfax has become a go-to resource for making sure a car purchase is safe. And now the online vehicle history report company is at the center of a new scam.
A couple in Bucks County, Pennsylvania lost $45,000 after the listing for a Lexus SUV on Carfax turned out to be fake.
The fact that my husband found the car on Carfax first and then was led to the dealer through that we were safe.
Adriana Parsons says she even spoke over the phone with someone claiming to be the dealer, but that Nebraska-based dealer doesn't have an internet presence. The listings instead came from a scammer who'd created a digital clone of the dealer on Carfax. Mike Dubusky, ABC News.
Carfax says it's unable to provide more specific data on these issues and that it acts swiftly to take down fraudulent listings. That's the latest news. Weather's next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News.
You're worried about, rot when it comes to your wood, mold. Ugh, that's awful. Maybe during the winter, your pipes froze, but they didn't burst, but you don't know. There could be a leak. You've got some cracks. Who knows what's going on in your basement, your foundation. That's why you need to call USS, United Structural Systems, today. Have them come out, take a look at what's going on out there. We all too often allow so many little things to become bigger things. And rather than nip them in the bud, next thing you know, you got to tear everything apart. Luckily, USS is there for you. Then come out, they give you a free inspection. It's not going to cost you a thing. And they're not going to sell you anything unnecessary. It's not what they're about, okay? They're there to help, and they guarantee the best. If you're worried about any of that, especially as rain starts to come in, especially when things start going crazy, when it comes to this time of year, get a little moldy potentially, you don't want any of that to grow. Put an end to it quick. Call 615-488-7855, 615-488-7855, or online at USSTN.com. Adam in the Boroughs said that for every one protester is supposed to represent 100 people. So didn't quite probably make the dent they think they wanted to. There are other protests going on today, though, so be aware. Mayday protest. Pretty excited about those. So there are going to be 2 days of protests, one today and one Saturday for Elon Musk. It's weird he's not there anymore. He's leaving. Aw.
See, it worked.
It did. Look at this. The first rally is already going in Union Street, 3rd Avenue. Demonstrators are going to march to the courthouse, then to the Nissan Stadium at 1, and then the second rally take place at 1:30. So very exciting. Free Palestine. Or whatever. I don't even know what they're complaining about. Well, the stuff that he did, he saved everybody $160 billion. What do you think of apples that are those apples, kids? Meanwhile, At the baseball game last night, a dude took a header.
A fan was carted off the field at PNC Park tonight after he fell from the right field bleachers more than 20 feet onto the warning track.
I'll be honest, I'm still pretty shaken up right now, as I'm sure everyone is who came out to the Pirates game tonight. Just not something you ever want to see, especially not at a baseball game. Now, over my shoulder right here is the Clemente wall. You see it's about a little over 20 feet high. That's how far the fan fell down onto the track out there in center field.
The figure wasn't moving, but the EMTs came out right away with the gurney and carted him off.
Now, when I saw it originally, I didn't think it was real. I thought somebody had thrown a mannequin out there because it just didn't look real. And it was, and the dude hit the warning track. And because normally when, if you're falling, you're flapping you're trying to do something. But that guy was just, and then when you see it, it looks like he gets jumps and he gets super excited. And I have a feeling the alcohol was definitely involved.
Now, Derek Shelton, obviously, after the game.
Even though it's, 350 feet away or whatever it is, I mean, the fact of how it went down and then, laying motionless, while the play's going on. I mean, Craig saw it, I saw it, we both got out there. I don't think the umpire saw it, unfortunately, because of the way the ball kicked, but just, it's extremely unfortunate. I mean, that's an understatement.
Yeah, it is. And I was telling Ken and I were talking, if he was sober, he probably wouldn't have fallen. But if he was sober and fell, he probably would have died.
It'd have been all tensed up.
Yeah, and he wasn't. So he's in intensive care. They worked on him for quite a while. And his buddies were saying that he was getting super excited every time there was a hit, every time there was something. And I don't know if alcohol was involved. My assumption is that alcohol, you go to a baseball game, you're like, if I'm going to get through this, I better drink.
Now, sources telling me that the victim in his 20s, he is in critical.
Is he a victim? I don't think he's a victim, right? Like, you weren't victimized. It was the person.
Victim of his own stupidity.
Yeah, you're not a victim of your own. I mean, like you said, nobody pushed you. I saw it.
He is in critical condition with a skull fracture. Police are basically sources telling me that it looked like he jumped up and forward in excitement, and his momentum took him over the railing. One fan telling me it looked like that guy jumping up to celebrate the Pirates scoring a run, and perhaps that momentum he hit against the railing and it carried him over.
I didn't even see him hit the railing. I just saw him just go straight
down.
Yeah, straight down. He just it looked like it was going to hurdle. Now, here's my question. Is there going to be an overreaction in sports?
Of course.
Okay, that's what I want to know. The overreaction is going to come. It's like, all right, here we go.
It's a scientific fact that every action in science requires an equal and overreaction by the people that saw it.
So from now on, the warning track will be just one long trampoline.
It'll be like all those suicide nets.
I was going to say they're going to call
buildings.
China. Hey, what do you guys use when those little kids want to throw themselves out the window? You know what? I think it would be making it more interesting, right? Give them a trampoline.
It would, man.
How cool would that be?
People to actually start using it.
Yeah.
They'd have to delay games.
So it's now normally we just see people, take their clothes off and go for it.
Just run across the outfield.
That's usually, but it's a horrible thing. But I know the reaction that's going to come because that's what we do in this country.
Do they expect him to be okay? Or they not know?
He's in really bad condition.
Yeah, let's look at.
So it's
touch and go, I think.
Okay.
What do you think this is going to cost the Pirates? Because they're going to say if he was drunk, you overserved him. That'll be number one. And they'll have to go back to all the cameras and monitors. See, was he going to buy the beer? Was his friends going to buy the beer? Was his friends giving him the beer? Did his friends know? Why didn't his friends do something? And then, and everybody's going to it's just easier to, settle it.
Everything says he's in critical condition.
Yeah. So it's a shame. It's a horrible situation. And you get these every once in a while. And, baseball, obviously we had it here with hockey a while ago. And you've got the nets up now in hockey. You've got the nets up in baseball because of the foul balls.
That's right. Yeah, that wasn't there.
Yeah, there was a lady got cracked.
Right.
Yeah. Baseball's kind of a weird sport where it's like, okay, so they're going to hit this ball 110 miles into the crowd. Now, you have no athletic ability whatsoever, and you might not be paying attention. Boom. But they made an announcement earlier that if you hear the crack of a bat, turn around.
Yeah, look.
I mean, it's, that's, when you think about it, it's kind of a weird, I mean, they smoke those balls. And everybody's, oh! And you pick it up off the dead person next to you. I got a ball, guys. So now, but they've got those nets now. So are they going to make them raise the bars up? Which will be stupid. It will be stupid. So we'll see. We'll see. Trump, not happy, I'm sure, with the new ruling from, again, immigration. The whole thing with immigration. This is the battle that he's both winning and frustrated with the most. He won at the border. I mean, I think you can't deny that he won at the border, but in some cases he's losing in the courtroom.
The legal premise underlying the deportations has been the president's determination that the U.S. has been invaded by the Tren de Aragua gang. But Brownsville-based federal judge Fernando Rodriguez says dictionary definitions and the historical record show that Trump's interpretation has exceeded the scope of the 1798 law. Rodriguez, who was appointed by President Trump and has been on the bench since 2018, says the White House cannot rely on the Alien Enemies Act to deport alleged members of the gang.
No way. So is he a rogue judge? But he was appointed by Trump. See, that's just it. How do you wrap your head around that one? You're appointed by Trump, and they're interpreting the law. That's what they're there for. And they're saying this is not the same. We're not at war with Tren de Agua or MS-13 is, I think, what he's trying to rule.
And since Congress has forgotten how to declare war, then we never will be, and the issue is going to remain.
Well, the thing about Congress is do everything you possibly can to never be on the record for anything. That's the best way to
do everything you possibly can to do nothing at all.
Yeah, that's it. So now this will be appealed because that's what we do. Everything's about an appeal because the whole goal is to get it to the Supreme Court, let them decide. Or hope that they decide, because remember, like yesterday, SCOTUS was talking about the church schools.
Yes.
And it's only 8 judges that are ruling there.
Yeah, because Justice Amy Coney Barrett is friends with a Notre Dame professor who is advising the Oklahoma school in question.
Yeah, so if it's 4-4, it goes down to the lower court's ruling, and that's the one that counts.
That's the one that'll stand.
The lower court's ruling that if it's only 8, if it's 4-4, that lower ruling stands.
Yeah, that's basically the Supreme Court's voice at that point.
Right.
So, and I still think it's going to be 5-3, 6-2. Because they're not taught and it's funny, I was watching a bunch of people yesterday talk about the SCOTUS, because this is going to change education in a major way. And they're not saying only Catholic schools. They're saying any school, right? Any school, religious school, should be able to benefit in this way. So, and everybody thinks just because the Catholics brought it, and they've got bigger things because they got to figure out what they're going to do with their Pope. Just because they brought it doesn't mean that it couldn't be another, if you had a Mormon school, if you had a, Buddhist.
Muslim.
Yeah. And I know there's a big thing in Texas right now. There's a battle going on in Texas over some areas that they want to have a place called Epic City. Have you seen this? So Epic City is going to be this huge, massive complex where they're going to have tons of homes and all this stuff, but it's only going to be for Muslims. I mean, anybody could live there, but it's going to be basically, an area for Muslims, and they're fighting that, saying there's no way because you guys are going to bring Sharia law, and that's a battle there that's going on. But, yeah, it could be a Muslim school. I don't, but, I mean, this does change education if this ends up being, heading in that direction. And I'm going to, and you can tell by the way that they're asking questions where it's going. The thing is, though, usually you had at least 5 conservatives. Now you really only have 4. And of that, Justice Roberts is interesting because he cares about the court and its reputation. So a lot of times he doesn't like to get involved in rulings, especially if there's a lower court or there's something in the past that has happened. That's what makes him, that's why everybody on the right hates him, because he doesn't get into some of this stuff, which is welcome to the world that we live in now. Nobody wants to be on record for anything, for God's sakes. So we have Afton coming up at 1. She's going to talk about how Bell can sneak to the front of the line. That's the goal.
Tell them why, please.
For real ID.
For real ID.
And nobody knows what Bell looks like. So at the DMV, nobody will protest.
I hope not. I don't need to be protested, but I'm trying to get my paperwork handled.
How did that guy get to the front of the line?
Well,
I'm people who know people.
You know what, though, Bell? If somebody would say, he's in a band. Like they would say that. They're like, he's like, you look like you could be in like a Pantera. Like,
yeah.
It's one of those bands where people have kind of heard of it. No, but it's like being in UB40. I can tell people I'm in UB40. Nobody knows
who's in UB40.
Yeah. So it's that kind of thing. Them is like, oh, yeah, that's the way it is. Look at the way he does that. That's pretty cool. Coming up, we're going to talk a little bit about Real ID before she comes to talk about Real ID, Afton, at the top of the hour. Check us out across all social media. We're on YouTube. We're on Twitch. We're on Twitter. We're on Facebook. And, of course, you can tweet at me directly at Chad Benson Show. It is the Chad Benson Show. Birch gold. The Rio reset's coming up. BRICS getting together. India, Iran, Russia, China, all trying to distance themselves from the dollar. No more reserve currency there. They want to take on the world. And let me tell you something. With the fear of what's going on out there in the economy, geopolitically, gold is a great thing to have. It's a great way to diversify yourself. I want you to text my company I swear by Birch Gold. Text Benson to 989898 today. They're going to get you out an info kit, show you what they're all about and why diversification in a time like this to protect that nest egg, the thing you work so hard for, not just for today, but for the future, why diversifying gold is important. Whether it's your savings, your IRA, your 401k, they can help you out. Text the word Benson now to Birch Gold at 989898 today from my gold company, Birch Gold.
All right, drivers, got some heavy rain right now in parts of downtown Nashville. There is a crash blocking the right shoulder, 65 southbound before I-24. Then in Woodbine, a crash blocking the right lane. That's going to be 24 eastbound at I-440. Got the No New Taxes protest in downtown Nashville and the White House staff shakeup and more coming up at 1 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Every day we like to find fun stuff for our good friend and yours, Ken. Crazy people saying crazy things. This is a lady who went to Africa. She was moving over there. She's done with America. She went to Africa. And let's just say things haven't panned out the way she thought.
But y'all, I'd rather go back to America and deal with the racism in America before I sit here in Africa and deal with the robbery, the fraud, the scams, the too expensive, the not having no snacks, the not having no food, the electricity, the hot water, the what's that called that be coming down? The animals and scorpions outside the house. It's big ass spiders. It's big ass lizards. Colorful lizards you ain't never seen before. All in the room with you, sleeping with you. All the people trying to scam you when you go outside, thinking you rich. So they trying to get more money off of you. I'm really trying to wrap my head around this shit.
She's having a good time in Africa. She thought it was going to be everything. She was dreaming of this.
That's a great move.
She's not done. She's not done. She's got a lot more to say about Africa.
I'm really trying to wrap my head around how are Americans coming to Africa and being happy. Please comment down below. Because for me, I'm ready to go. And I always used to say, if it's up to me, it will be. And I'm going to go out to Africa and make shit happen. No, I don't want to. I want to take my businesses back to America. I want to open up shop back in America, open up my dentist office and all the stuff that I was going to do out here in America. Steady electricity. And the only time our electricity get cut off is when we don't pay the bill. And we got it so good now, we got prepaid electricity. So if we forget to pay the bill, we put some money on that prepaid thing and it comes right back on in 2 minutes. In less than 2 minutes.
Not
This
there.
shit right here didn't come on for 14 hours yesterday. I can't deal. I love the people. Don't get me wrong. When I'm outside, I'm having fun. I love people. But when I come back to reality, when you come back home, home is where the heart is, right? When you come back home, you're supposed to feel comfortable. You're supposed to be happy. I'm not happy. To live in a house where you look outside and all you see is turkeys and ducks and chickens and sheeps and old malnourished cows.
Malnourished Cows, name my new band.
Sheeps and malnourished cows.
That is a lady who moved to Africa to get away from America and its evil, and she has decided she's no longer happy in Africa because of all of the stuff, including malnourished cows.
Where in Africa did she go?
She went to Ghana.
Ghana, okay.
Yeah, so now she wants a Ghana out of there. So
now she's going to be Ghana.
Yeah, she is not thrilled by what took place. It's very interesting because I love all of the animals. I look outside, all I see is ducks
and geese and
malnourished cows. People try to take advantage of me. They scam me. But how funny was it with the electricity?
Yeah.
Yeah.
In America, you get on the monthly payment plan and it's on in 2 seconds.
Yeah. She's like, 14 hours. We haven't had our electricity on, and they're paid up.
Yeah, they're good to go.
Yeah, it's pretty.
They're in good standing.
Yeah. I know somebody said she's a dentist. That's what she said. That is what I don't know if she's a dentist. Whatever she said, though, I took away from she's not happy with all that is happening in Africa. So coming up, we're going to talk Real ID. Afton is here. Look at that big smile. Maybe we'll talk about some other stuff, too. Smells nice, too, man. It's like, you what are you wearing there? You got something good on. Or was that Belle?
Am I on?
No, kind of, sort of.
Oh, okay. No, that's me.
All right, smells nice.
Thank you.
Already looking better in here, kids. Coming up.
I smell like SpaghettiOs.
We're going to talk Real IDs. You look like SpaghettiOs. You look like you eat SpaghettiOs. He doesn't, though. He eats all nice and stuff. Weirdo. It is Chad Ben Show. Super Talk 99.7.
Hi, did you miss me?
1 o'clock on the dot. I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories, and we've got some pockets of heavy rain out there in downtown Nashville. Right lane is blocked right now by a crash, 24 eastbound at I-440. Then we've got one 65 southbound before I-24 downtown. Got the full forecast coming up in 5 minutes. Tell you more about this level 2 out of 5 risk of severe weather. Earlier today in downtown Nashville, dozens of protesters outside where Mayor Freddie O'Connell presented his budget at the 62nd Annual State of Metro Address. That budget includes a combined property tax rate that the mayor's office says is lower than that of 2021 to 2025, but not everyone's going to benefit. Here's Channel 4's Driving Quigley.
Now, the mayor did talk about this, saying that even as we're setting the lowest overall property tax rate in Nashville since 1972, some Nashvillians will pay more in property taxes. He also said that the low rate helps, but it won't totally offset the market realities of the past 5 years, which is the last time the tax rate was increased.
And in Washington, D.C.,
the people united shall never be defeated.
Workers from all backgrounds coming together for International Workers' Day, demanding justice, fair treatment, and protection for all workers. The rally chose to spotlight the case of Kilmar Abrego Garcia, the Salvadoran arrested in Maryland, then deported in March for alleged ties to the MS-13 gang. Multiple reports say President Trump is expected to announce the departure of National Security Advisor Mike Walz, possibly Walz's top deputy from the Trump administration. Could be due to adding a reporter to that signal chat with top Trump officials discussing the U.S. military strike on Houthi rebels in Yemen. The White House and Walz have not commented on the moves, and multiple outlets saying their sources say the move is not final until Trump announces it. President Trump marked the National Day of Prayer in the Rose Garden today.
We're bringing back religion in our country, and we're bringing it back quickly and strongly.
Vowed to take a stand against what he calls the radical left.
For America to be a great nation, we must always be one nation under God, a phrase that they would like to get rid of, the radical left. But, Ben, I don't think we're going to let them get rid of that, right?
California recently overtook Japan to have the fourth biggest economy in the world if California were its own country. Now the state says its population's growing again.
During the pandemic, California saw an exodus of residents moving to more conservative places like Idaho, Montana, and Tennessee. Conservative politicians and pundits lauded it as proof that California was failing. But new data from the California Department of Finance shows for a second year in a row that trend reversed. California's population grew by over 100,000 people in 2024. California now has over 39.5 million residents. Los Angeles led in 2024 with the biggest population growth in the state. Alex Stone, ABC News,
Los
Angeles.
Alex had to throw in that Los Angeles. That's the latest news. Weather's next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News.
Afton Payne is here. The bane of everybody's existence. Real ID, kids. The bane of everybody's existence. Belle would like to know before we get started. Can you get him to the front of the line?
Well, if he'd attended my town hall 2 weeks ago, absolutely. You would have been VIP.
Now
you missed out.
I'm regretting it even more because I actually had plans on going, and then I woke up that morning. I'm like, no, I'm too tired.
Yeah, no, too tired. Too partying too hard from all the stuff. Okay, let's talk Real ID. I hear from some people that are frustrated. I hear some people, you guys are idiots. You should have got a long time ago. There's lots of confusion.
Yeah.
I was telling you, in states, I mean, there's like, Kentucky's like, we don't even have any, so good luck. Nobody can leave Kentucky now, which may be a good thing, but still, But the frustration level of people thinking they have everything, no, you don't have this piece of paper, you do. Sometimes, and I told Belle this yesterday, I think sometimes it's the luck of the draw of the person that you end up with.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I want to start by providing a brief history of Real ID for your listeners. So during the 9/11 Commission, after the terrorist attacks, they passed, the commission made recommendations as to the security measures they wanted to see. And one of those was implementing a Real ID. And I think what's important to note is that states were already really disgruntled, and not even just blue states like Maine that ended up filing a resolution against Real IDs, but states like Montana that, are very much pro-civil liberties, get out of my backyard type states. And so this has been, unfortunately spiraling to the finish line, which is in a week.
It is. I don't care if you're rich or poor. I don't care if you're black or white, gay or straight, Republican, progressive, conservative, whatever it is. Everybody hates going to the DMV. That's one of the few things we all have in common. It's like, nope, don't want to be there.
Yep.
And the frustration level of what I've heard, Belle's been frustrated because he doesn't. We was even checking your birth certificate yesterday, make sure you had everything, the raised.
Yeah, to make sure I had the notary's stamp on it.
I mean, it's a brutal process. You have to bring a proof of citizenship or legal presence, proof of social security numbers,
and this is all imposed by the federal government, these parameters, right?
Yes, and I think it's important to note that this is an issue that has unified the far left and the far right, because in terms of the more conservative belief is that this is federal overreach.
Of course.
This is federalism at its finest.
Well, I mean, and by the way, super quick the way we did this too. So 9/11, and then a few years later we passed this, the Patriot Act, ridiculous. And then all of a sudden we've got this. And here we are 20 years later, 2 decades. And we're just getting around to it.
Yeah.
And nobody's prepared for it.
No. And unfortunately, and you mentioned the long wait lines, I had a constituent email me who's in a wheelchair, and he had tried unsuccessfully to get his Real ID 5 times. 5 times. First location.
He wasn't in a wheelchair when he started this. That's how long he's been waiting in line.
Exactly. And so, and I think it's important to note why, and I just want your listeners to understand why they are not able to get an appointment in Davidson. Do you know the next available appointment to get your Real ID in Davidson County?
No.
July.
Wait a minute. You can't just take your paperwork and go to the DMV?
You can. You can wait in line, but if you want to make an appointment online, the next available appointment is in July. And why do you think that is, Chad? If you had to guess.
Well, now I heard that a bunch of people went and got all of the appointments they possibly could, and they're selling them. That was pretty good, too.
Really?
Yeah, it's good. It was good. I mean, I'm not saying I'm doing that, but if you guys want to reach out to me. No, I don't know why. Why is that?
Well, I didn't know if we were going to talk about a legislative recap, but it's important for folks to know. Okay, great, because I love a legislative recap. Okay, that's why I showed up. So our state budget has ballooned. Okay, we have the largest state budget in Tennessee history at this moment in time, and none of our services have improved. And so what I've been telling folks, especially my constituents that are complaining about these long lines, that are complaining that they can't get an appointment, is that we've outsourced a lot of these services from the DMV, and there's longer wait lines. And customer service has deteriorated to the point where folks are really upset across the state. And so I just want to draw a direct line to, the outsourcing and grifting that's happening with our state government and our state budget to the lack of services and availability around Real ID appointments today.
You know what I would like to have seen is they set up places specifically for this, hire people specifically for this, maybe bring Chick-fil-A in because they know how to get stuff done in an orderly time and through. And run it in that situation where you can leave the other stuff that whether you're going to renew your license, whatever it is you were going to do, to that, and then this specifically for that.
Yeah, and that didn't happen. I mean, there was no track, and I think Tennessee. I'm grateful for our state employees that are trying their best. I mean, under really terrible conditions, but it is a endemic issue across state government in terms of them outsourcing and the services just not being there. So you have about a week to find an appointment. You can go online and try to county hop, which is what a lot of folks have been doing. I'm not selling my appointment, and actually, I just wanted to say publicly that I'm not going to get my real ID.
Why is that?
I'm boycotting.
You have
the
a passport,
real ID.
right?
I do have a passport. And so for your listeners, that if you do have an American passport, you are able to travel domestically and still enter federal buildings, but it preempts you from a lot of that if you don't have it.
Yeah. So, and I know
I have a question. Is there any new parameters on getting your passport or getting it renewed?
No, and I will say
it's easier, isn't it?
So, I could be, on some list. And as I think it's Woody Guthrie said, I'd love to be if you have a list, I want to be on it.
Yeah.
So, but inevitably, I decided to renew my passport. My passport expires in August. I applied for it 3 weeks ago, and they have been nonstop emailing me saying, okay, it's been approved. It's moving forward. So it's been very,
yeah, because there was
process.
during COVID, it was a nightmare.
Yes.
It was like you were waiting forever. But people were asking me, can I travel on my passport? Yeah, your passport's like the end all to be all.
Yes.
Right? I mean, it's your social security card. It's your end all to be all.
Well, then other than the expense, because I think it's $85 to get your passport or maybe get it renewed.
$140.
$140, even more so. Other than that additional expense, is there any reason to get the real ID over the passport?
Personally, no. I think, a lot of Americans don't travel internationally. They do travel domestically. A lot of folks are going to show up to BNA on May 7th and be livid.
Yeah.
Livid.
Now,
so I think it's worthwhile to get your passport over your real ID.
You can still travel. I was reading about it last night. You have to bring a couple things, and you have to fill out some paperwork, and then you have to do like an extra special screening if indeed you don't have your real ID. Because some places, even if you went and applied for it, I know Kentucky, they said they didn't, they kind of ran out of stuff. Because I think a lot of people thought it was coming. Or it
wasn't happening at all.
But it was never happening.
Yeah, right.
Like California, when I was there, I heard about it for years. I got renewed 50 times. And it was like they never once said, and it would tell, okay, now we're going to go. Same thing with Arizona. They weren't prepared for it.
Yeah, in Tennessee, I mean, they've been trying their best. They have, a campaign out there informing folks, but it's just not to the level that we need. And I really worry of folks Tennesseans showing up to airports being really upset and frustrated that they can't fly.
What has been so when you go, what do you need to bring? Because like the person who went 5 times, what didn't they have?
So there were 2 people at our town hall that are actually turned down. A lot of folks have birth certificates that aren't notarized or aren't certifiable copies. And I will just say this is a problem. I mean, I'm upset about this. I think rural Republicans in the legislature are upset about this because you have working families, working folks that don't have access to these documents. If you have helped anyone, I've housed a lot of poor Black folks who don't have access to their documents. It took 4 months just to get a certified Social Security card again. And so and when they're uprooted or their camps closed, et cetera, and then not to mention talk about Hurricane Helene.
Yeah,
those folks lost those documents.
Yeah, that's what you weren't saying as you're leaving the house. Quick, grab your birth certificate because we need your real ID.
And you're 2% Tennessee resident. Like it's just, and so I hope there's ways for them for the process to be expedited for folks, especially that are Hurricane Helene victims. But I just haven't seen that happen.
If you have a name change, like a lot of women that get married and they change their name, or
rock stars,
or somebody from the music community changes their name. Do you have to show up with a notarized court order, or can you just use the form they give you in a probate court after you change your name?
That's a great question. I actually don't know the answer to that. So maybe your listeners.
I think it's kind of a crapshoot. I feel like it is. I feel like no matter what you bring, I feel like there's one thing you're going to be missing. Just get a passport, people. If you don't have to fly in the next 6 weeks, get a passport.
Yeah, but what's the cost of a passport versus the real ID? Because the real ID is just...
It's cost expensive. Passports are $140. I think the real ID is $35.
Yeah, but you're getting a passport. It's probably because you're going someplace.
I'm not going anywhere.
Well, you're not, but like other people.
They won't even let me out of the state, much less the country.
No, but most people that have a passport, I've never, that's what a lot of people say. Can I use my passport? Can I use my military ID? You figure military ID, you should be able to override everything.
Yeah,
if you're good enough to be in the military.
Yeah. And I want to highlight just that it's a problem for both sides. I mean, one, it's this privacy invasion, a massive database that I think a lot of folks feel like will be used for digital tracking or, from the conspiratorial side, vaccine passports. And there's a lot of hidden cost and bureaucracy, as which you've intimated today. I mean, you go in and you're like, wait a minute, I have to go back 4 times because I had half of a document. I mean, it's incredibly frustrating. And I feel for every Tennessean standing in those lines right now.
So it's your best bet, and you and I were talking about this off the air, is to find that person out in the parking lot after the place closed that works in there, slip them a $100, get in early. They'll handle business.
I can't condone that, but
that's capitalism, kids.
It is a tactic. It is a tactic.
And also, if you only give them $100 and it costs $35, you're still $5 under the cost of a passport.
Yeah, it's true. But still, so this is good to go to, because you can get 2 different. There's another like a Real ID on steroids, right? There's one on top of that.
Really?
Yeah, you didn't know that?
No. See, they don't tell me anything in state
there's
government.
a Real ID on steroids that is, I think it's like a mini passport where you can travel.
Is the star just bigger and it shines brighter?
Maybe it's a big star, then a medium star. I don't know. But I'm with you. It's like, why do we need to do this? And it should be free. If you're making me do this, this should be free.
Yeah, unfunded mandates. Unfunded federal mandates.
Yeah. And I want you to tell me exactly again, for 20 years, we haven't needed this. Now, all of a sudden, it's a rush to get it done. And what do you think is going to happen on the 7th if you don't have it?
I think people are going to be livid, and I think our phones are going to be lit up. I think our federal delegation is going to hear from a lot of different folks. And once again, I want to reiterate that it is concerning. It is highly concerning. I mean, it is a federal database, and on my side, like we feel it's exclusionary and discriminatory in terms of working poor who can't get those documents, as well as obviously immigrants. But we can agree that it is an invasion and
of course
of privacy.
So some people are saying you need a marriage certificate and a divorce. If you got divorced, you need a divorce certificate. You need the name change.
I'm already sweating.
Yeah, it's a lot of things.
Why don't I just give them my American Express and we'll call it even?
Yeah, that'd be a good thing. That'd be
Don't get busted for bribery.
Probably.
TSA.
With my luck, I would be, yes.
So it is just such a bizarre, like I said, I find the whole thing ridiculous that we have to go through this. We have to pay for it. It has been 20 years. And in that 20 years, nothing has happened that should make us go, oh, something's going to change on Wednesday.
Yeah.
Did the feds even provide any funding to allow for the expansion of the DMV employee base?
Eventually they did.
They
did. Originally, no. I mean, it took them 3 years to write the rules.
You're literally putting an extra layer of bureaucracy on the DMV that they weren't functioning under before.
Yeah, and as Chad said, like some states have a really high threshold in terms of getting your license, and so perhaps it's a lot easier. But for us, they did have had to add a lot of steps into getting your real ID.
Some people like, you've known this for 20 years. I've had my real ID since 2005. I know nobody that's had a real ID.
I haven't known anyone either. I will say for your listeners, if you are struggling, one perk besides a parking spot downtown that we get as your legislator is that you can email your state representative or your state senator, and we can expedite you to the front of the list. So if you are struggling, if you are listening to this call and you need your real ID, you're traveling, send an email to your state rep or state senator, and we can expedite that request.
Well, since my state rep is already here, can I just have her help me out before she leaves?
I'll walk you in.
Okay.
I'll walk
Goodness
you in.
me. All right, coming up, we're going to talk about the session just got done. So we'll chat a little bit about that. Afton in here with us, talk some more ID, talk a bunch of other stuff. It is Chad Ben Show, Super Talk 99.7. Prize Picks, you want to win 2,000 times your money, maybe get a chance to go to the championship basketball VIP for 2. Prize Picks can help you with that. Now, what is Prize Picks? Play your first $5 line. You get a $50 bonus when you use my code Chad the first time Win or lose, doesn't matter. And it's over under, right? So you're picking players in sports, right? So you're picking over under points, over under hits, over under goals, whatever it is. It's that simple. And it takes 5 minutes. You download the app, use my code Chad. When you do, $50 bonus immediately, win or lose on your first go. And every time you play, you get entered in to win a VIP trip to the championship. So take advantage of what's going on in the playoffs. Take advantage. You can play cross sports. You can play hockey. You can play basketball. You can play baseball. You can play all of the sports. So easy, so simple. Check it out now. Prize Picks. Use my code Chad when you download the app to get that $50 bonus. Prize Picks. Run your game. Must be 21, present in Tennessee. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-426-2537.
All right, drivers, still dealing with a crash. It's on the shoulder, but you got to get over for the first responders. It's going to be 24 westbound at Haywood Lane. Got another one over on the East Bank going westbound. It's the off-ramp to James Robertson Parkway, then by the airport. Left shoulder blocked by a crash, 40 eastbound at exit 215, and then 65 southbound before 24 downtown, and then a right lane blocked by a crash, 24 eastbound right there at 440. No new taxes protest, White House staff shakeup, price hikes for gamers, and a pressure cooker recall to tell you about at 1:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Afton with us. We're talking Real ID. She wants to get everybody high so we can fix potholes. What happened with potholes? Potholes?
Failed in committee. But the good news, I'm bringing it back, baby.
Why did it fail? What was the baloney that they gave you?
So we have a lot of legislators that possess antiquated dogma. And what I mean by that is they're kind of...
In my band. Write that down, guys.
Antiquated dogma.
We're going to be touring with slim cows.
Stop. So there's a lot of legislators that have this like war on drugs, neocon, Reagan mentality. And it's like, if you just smoked a little bit.
Yeah, some of them can use some gummies.
Like, just
say no.
Say maybe.
Say maybe. Say maybe. So these guys they will retire in the next few years, and I think there will be a massive shift in the legislature in terms of what we can do around the recreational sale of marijuana.
It's just so ridiculous.
Statistically speaking, the state's already fine with making it. I mean, certainly medicinally legal.
Do you know they banned hemp?
It's just ridiculous.
This session?
It's silly.
What has hemp ever done to them?
I don't know.
It threatened William Randolph Hearst's wood empire for all the trees he was cutting down to print his papers.
Rosebud. I didn't, because I was sitting there going, well, why is, oh, yeah, that's right. I forgot. We have people here who are going to push the insanity of well, it's going to be a gateway drug.
That's what they think.
Yeah.
They really think that. And I'm like, meanwhile, we have an opioid epidemic. Most of the email submissions I received in support of Pot for Potholes were from veterans or people who are chronically ill that this is the only thing to ameliorate their symptoms.
And you know what's funny? So our station, listeners...
Afton, we can't let people who have cancer use marijuana because they might end up feeling better.
By the way, the one person said the DARE program definitely failed me.
But I got the T-shirt.
Yeah, that's right. It's Red Ribbon Week, guys.
I got the swag.
But, you know, we get a lot of listeners who you would think are a very conservative station, and me being obviously the most conservative of them all. But
obviously.
The hilarious thing is how many people on here say, this is stupid, we should like pot legal.
Free the plant.
Yeah.
Free the plant. A lot of libertarians across the state. I mean, the time has come, and I understand that there are, folks have challenges with making it legal, but I think that we need to move beyond that because we need revenue. Our state's broke right now, and so we need diverse and new forms of revenue.
Well, not only that, we don't need to be making criminals out of people that are using something just recreationally.
I find it, and
if you hurt somebody else under the influence,
but
that's
that should
one
be
thing.
anybody.
But to go home on the weekend and drink some THC beverages or whatever, it's like, come on.
Yeah.
Well, that brings me a question, Afton. What's going to happen to the THC beverages and the gummies? I mean, I know
he's
the
asking for a
flour's
friend.
going away.
Yeah, I mean, they've got until January 1st. So some of the negotiations behind the bill were that they could delay, because typically our bills are enacted July 1st. And so there's some delay. Right now, the hemp advocates are going across the state telling businesses what they can and can't do, but it's really going to diminish and hurt their businesses.
So, and I've said this, until the weed industry gets powerful enough in the lobbying side of things, this is the struggle. Plus, at a federal level, I mean, it's a Schedule I drug, like, meth and stuff. Come on. But they don't know how to say sorry. Hey, sorry we locked up all these black people.
Yeah. And a lot of the Republican legislators will say, well, we're just waiting for Trump to decriminalize it, and then we can have that conversation. Do you think that's going to happen?
I think it will, yeah.
Really?
Yeah, I think Trump will.
Okay.
I think Trump will decriminalize it, and he'll say, the feds are going to,
Oh, then we're off to the races.
Yeah, but the thing is, though, you still have a lot of people that have this pious attitude that is some sort of gateway drug, and I'm sorry, but you can get it anyways. How long is it going to take somebody to get weed if they want to get weed?
Yeah. So I'm really excited about this project. Even though Pot for Potholes failed in committee, I plan to refile it in the next few weeks. And I'm excited because I'm organizing hopefully a concert series called Hemp for Highways to support Pot for Potholes across the state. And
when?
Hopefully in the fall. But is that something I want to personally
you come
invite?
on, you just, man, I'll tell you what, you come on over here. We'll do a little, it's going to be like a reggae concert. I would kind of go with that.
Country. I've got an insurgent country music star interested. So I'm excited to partner and hopefully take this show on the road. And really it's to inform the Tennesseans as to the ban on hemp. How is that going to impact their lives? And then to garner support around Pot for Potholes.
And how does hemp hurt their lives? That's why I keep asking, like any of these people that would ever come on and say, well, how does it hurt your life? What is it? Well, let me tell you, because they always come up with some weird thing.
Somebody might get stoned and go drive in their car. Well, that's illegal.
Yeah, so is drinking and driving.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's the frustration level when I asked them, how is this going to hurt people? Well, they don't have any real good thing. It's just because, few of my constituents would be very angry at a town hall. They're angry already at you at a town hall.
Well, and
if you were to have one.
And all my legislation, I mean, as I said, we really need to be thinking about diversifying our funding streams because we are not generating enough revenue to maintain the DMV, your Real ID appointments, the ones that you've signed up for weeks in advance and are now waiting in line. So, Pot for Potholes. Let's go.
Can you stick around for another one?
Yeah.
All right. Afton's here. She can stick around for another one. We're going to have some more fun talking about some of the other fun stuff in the session. What are the stories behind the scenes? Those are the things that are more entertaining. And then I'm going to ask you a question about why the hell do you guys work like an hour a year, which is a bizarre thing. We'll talk about that straight at Chad Bench Show, Super Talk 997.
1:30 on the dot. I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. Everybody in Middle Tennessee under a level 2 out of 5 risk for severe weather. That's going to run until about 9 o'clock tonight. We've already had some bouts of heavy rain here and there. Nothing severe at this time, though. We'll keep an eye on it for you. Give you some more details during the full forecast in 5 minutes. Getting some breaking news right now. Multiple media reporting that President Trump has tapped outgoing National Security Advisor Mike Walz to be the UN ambassador and have Secretary of State Marco Rubio fill in as the NSA director. And here in Nashville, dozens of protesters outside where Mayor Freddie O'Connell was presenting his budget at the 62nd Annual State of Metro Address that includes a combined property tax rate the mayor's office says will be lower than that of 2021 to 2025, but not everyone's going to benefit. Here's Channel 4's Dryden Quigley.
Now, the mayor did talk about this, saying that even as we're setting the lowest overall property tax rate in Nashville since 1972, some Nashvillians will pay more in property taxes. He also said that the low rate helps, but it won't totally offset the market realities of the past 5 years, which is the last time the tax rate was increased. Now,
heads up, gamers. Microsoft says it's raising prices of Xbox video game consoles due to what it says are market conditions. This will affect the Xbox Series S, Xbox Series X consoles, as well as some compatible controllers, but not existing video game titles. The consoles are going to cost about $100 more, while the controllers will be about $10 more. Same for games. Nintendo and Sony have announced plans to charge more in recent weeks. Got a pressure cooker recall to tell you about. Shark Ninja recalling nearly 2 million pressure cookers.
Those are two of my favorite things, sharks and ninjas.
Yeah.
If there was really shark ninjas, this world would be a better place.
Well, these things, they'll do a number on you. Got 106 reports of burn injuries that have sparked more than 24 lawsuits against the company. About 50 of these reports cited second and third degree burns to consumers' faces or bodies. So these things are sold at Walmart, Costco, Sam's Club, Amazon, and Target. And that's the latest news. Weather's next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News.
Oh, good. Berna, that is an amazing. Berna technology, incredible. If you have guns, you like to go and shoot, you know how expensive it is to train and go out. How about Berna Technologies? You're thinking, what is this? Well, they're legal, all 50 states. You don't need a concealed carry. They're launchers, as they like to call them. They've got compact ones. They've got ones that are, you look at them, they're incredible. And you go to their website and check them out. They're non-lethal, but they'll do the damage. But the beauty of Berna, and they're right here in Franklin, is the opportunity to train without breaking the bank, which is incredible. And it is so much fun. When you go check out all of the amazing launchers they have, and for people out there who maybe you've got family members, people that are interested, but they're a little nervous about going out, this is a great way to introduce them and get them to start shooting. But it's a great way for the average person who doesn't really train that much to get a feel of what it's like to work with these things on a daily basis. Check them out in Franklin. Call them. Open 7 days a week. Save 10% when you mention my name. You can go there and work yourself out. Shoot. It's incredible. 615-558-0534. 615-558-0534 for Burner Technologies. Hampton Bain is here. She's rocking and rolling. Sounds like a band. So, hemp for highways? I can't wait.
It's a soft launch.
It's a soft launch.
The grand opening will be later on.
You guys should get Willie Nelson. He smokes weed. Just turned 92 the other day.
Yeah, we should.
Remember when he got in trouble for smoking weed? Way back in the day? That was back in the day.
When he got in trouble for not paying his taxes?
I remember he got in trouble for a lot of things. That's part of the fun of Willie Nelson. So the session has just ended. So here was this big session. You guys worked 16 hours a day for 70 straight zillion days, and now you don't work for the rest of the year. I jokingly say that, but why don't you have another session in, say, I don't know, August or September? Isn't it kind of weird?
Tennessee has always had a 2-year session. So some states like Texas, every other year, but Tennessee's always had a 4 to 6 month session from January to June, and then it's shortened. So it's every 2 years, but it's a full-time gig. I mean, don't get me wrong. Like I'm providing constituent services year round, even though I get paid $26,000 a year.
Good God. That is
it's so embarrassing to be at career days with kids and they walk up and they're like, "What do you do?" I'm like, "Oh, I'm a state rep." And they said, "How much money do you make?" $26,000. Why would anyone do that?
Exactly. Yeah, kids stay in school
So
right there.
humbling.
You should take it from Nancy Pelosi, right? Like she's done pretty well for herself.
God, don't even get me started.
So let's talk about the session. First of all, spill the tea, as the kids would say. Anything crazy happen? You cussed, I know that.
I cussed in committee, and my mom was really upset.
Oh, was she?
So I had a gay constituent that passed away, small business owner, beloved community member, and they played politics with his death memorial resolution, and I was furious. And so in committee, I had this long diatribe, and then dramatically I said, "On behalf of the House District 51 constituents, this is bullshit." And I stood up and walked out. It was very dramatic.
Really?
Yeah.
And your mom was mad?
She was livid.
Why?
In fact, she came to the legislature the following week to make
Wash
sure
your
I
mouth out
didn't
with
yell
soap?
any
So
epithets.
you're let's talk about it. How do you think it went?
It was brutal on our side. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm in the super minority. It was big government overreach. They added a bunch of different money to administrative budgets, which is insane. The attorney general got like $9 million more to do what? I have no clue. And so we've seen this bloating of a budget, state overreach, like unhinged legislation that basically their goal is to undo the federal constitution. And whether your listeners agree with that or not, it's really scary because they want to be first in basically ensuring cases that get to the Supreme Court to undo our federal constitution.
Which
so that was their goal.
it's kind of an interesting thing because we were talking about the there is that race from more than a few states that are trying to do what they can to get, whether it's the trans issue or this, that, and the other, to see who can get there first.
Yep. That's right.
So,
That's right. And so a lot of, on my side, we used to be able to stop bad bills. And now we've really had to think through, like, what is our Sixth Circuit strategy, which is our judicial, Tennessee's situated in that. So, but I wanted to ask you about this. Did any of your listeners follow the Trump International Airport saga?
Some of them did.
I'm interested to hear what they thought.
Most of the people thought, no, name it Dolly Parton.
Really?
Yeah, most of the people did. Because you know what? He's going to get a school and he'll get whatever, they all get that stuff. And they'll get an airport at some point. But name it Dolly Parton.
Well, and the legislator that filed that bill is a friend of mine, and I'm like, why? You have a municipal airport in your district. Why not rename that? And it's like, well, it's not big enough. And but I thought, it was a unifying issue, I think, across Davidson counties that they really didn't want their airport renamed. But that was a hot button issue this session.
I don't really. All these kiss ups for stuff like this. Right?
It's good for fundraising, honestly.
Well, it is great for fundraising. Somebody said, we're not broke. Our state's not broke.
We are not generating any new revenue.
Yeah.
Period. End of
We're
statement.
not broke like as in,
we're not broke as in we're facing massive budget cuts, but I will tell you this, and this is probably where, you and I might differ. Almost 40% of our state budget is federal funding, right? And, Tennessee has the past 10 years tried to supplement that funding so that we're not as federally dependent, but that's just not the case. Well, what's happening is you have a lot of this federal funding, for example, Second Harvest, which provides food to a lot of Middle Tennesseans, right? Had to turn away a giant haul of food because they didn't have the money coming from the federal government. And so what's going to happen is the state goes back in August to figure out how much of this federal funding has been cut. And I think there's going to be massive cuts across the board.
You think there's going to be massive cuts?
Yeah.
Man, I find that obvious because you figure, Trump would probably look at all the Republican states and goes, just fund them whatever they want.
Well, I think the Republicans in the legislature think that President Trump would show up with a blank check, like a PricewaterhouseCooper blank check.
But he's not going to.
No, he's not going to.
No.
And it's going to be a really harsh reality, especially for our rural communities that are very quite federally heavily dependent. We're talking like the Tennessee Economic and the TNECD that handles all the economic development across the state. Their budget is almost 80% federally funded. So we're not just talking about like pennies. These are hundreds of millions of dollars that will be lost.
And like with the whole thing with school choice the last time, and not just here but nationwide, it's been the rural areas, so they're mostly conservative, who don't want to lose those schools because they realize kids are going to choose to go somewhere else. And
there's no private schools there.
So, and that was a big issue. What did you guys, so you guys had to agree on some stuff. You had to agree on something.
Can you play a cricket sound? Is there
I guess you didn't agree on something.
I mean, there's a few. Thank you.
There we go.
Finally. Finally.
We keep trying to get him a touch screen, but it's not working.
So I think there were a few, there's incremental legislation that I can get behind. I think, actually there was a bill by Representative Clark Boyd, who has Wilson County, that would have held private prisons, like the one we have at Trousdale, owned by CoreCivic, more accountable, which that is a unifying position across both parties right now, is holding our private prison industry. Did you know the genesis of the private prison industry was based in Tennessee? Do you know the story?
No, I didn't know that.
Oh, it's fascinating. Can I?
Yeah,
just
please
for a minute?
do.
So in the 90s, there were massive prison riots across the state. And in the Nashville State Prison, inmates took guards hostage. And it was a full-blown crisis. Governor Lamar Alexander had passed a bunch of, mass criminalization bills, but there wasn't enough prison occupancy for these inmates. So they rioted. They took guards hostage. And basically, Lamar Alexander was called in with his chief of staff with this judge and the prison's attorney. And they said, you all need to figure this out. You need to figure this out right now. And so Lamar Alexander is basically the steward of the private prison industry. They said, well, we'll just privatize it, and hence CCA, which then turned into CoreCivic. So Tennessee is the homestead for the private prison industry.
It's a booming industry.
Well, and do you know anything about Trousdale in West Tennessee? I mean, it's run by gangs, and they just settled. I just saw today the Tennessean reported that CoreCivic had to settle like a $25 million lawsuit for an inmate that had issues and it wasn't handled properly. So that was I think a massive. We were all really excited to get behind that bill.
Well, that's good. Yeah, I get frustrated with most people don't realize 90% of people in prison are going to get out. What can we do as society to give people real chances? Some people, let's be honest, there are people in prison for a reason, and they can't be around human beings because they're not good people. But the people that come out, the opportunities need to be there, and it gets frustrating because, I know Matt does. Who's Matt work with, guys? I always forget. The prison people that he tries to.
Men of Valor.
Men of Valor, which I think is cool. Giving people opportunities to get back out there and do stuff. And we were talking about this the other day. Like California, they train you to be plumber, HVAC, do all these kind of things. Then you get out and you can never get licensed. Nobody can ever hire you because you can't go in a house.
Wow.
Because you're like a felon.
Yeah.
So nobody's going to insure. And I don't blame the insurance companies going, I'm not going to get behind you because if this person's, we could be, it's frustrating because there should be things we as a society agree upon.
And prison reform should be absolutely one of them.
Yeah.
I mean, we all deserve redemption, especially when we've served our time. Like, I see no qualms about that. So I'm hoping that's something, unfortunately, I mean, I am being hyperbolic when I say this, but almost everything is a felony. Like, they have just enhanced penalties for so many things, like drag racing.
That's that where you dress up in women's clothes and run up and down the street fast?
No, it's the other thing.
So drag racing's a felony?
If you do it, I think a certain number of times, I don't want to be spreading fake news, but I remember not voting for a bill that would have enhanced something of drag racing to a felony. But they've been passing felonies and I have massive issues with these bills that enhance everything to felonies because you lose so much. You lose so much when you get a felony. Your right to vote, your God-given right to vote as an American citizen in this country. So I think this is prison reform is definitely an avenue that we can all kind of figure out how to work together. And I look forward to maybe engaging in that the next session.
So what do you think moving forward? I mean, obviously, obviously we're blue here in Nashville and around here, but the rest of the state's still pretty damn conservative.
Yeah.
I look at this and you guys really have no chance. I mean, that's welcome to the world we live in. It's just like being in California for a Republican. You don't even have to show up because you know that's going to happen.
Except if you're in Bakersfield.
Bakersfield's gorgeous. The Bakersfield Sound, for those of you not keeping score. It's a real thing. But how do you work across the lines where you go, okay, I'm not going to get everything I want, but I know I can get some things. And this will be good for all of us. Because my frustration in politics is we no longer, we fight for our own team.
Yeah, I mean, and as a member of the super minority, we're always trying to build a bigger team. And I think there are, we ask for incrementalism, and I haven't seen transformative legislation that would, really change the trajectory of the state. And I have to say, like, when I've asked, members of leadership, like, what is your vision for Tennessee 2050? Like, what is your vision for the next 20, 30 years? And I haven't really heard it articulated. And so, I would like to see, a legislature that's more even keeled in the middle, because I think there would be more of an emphasis on negotiation and compromise. Whereas right now, like, the part of the rules package for the House was that if we were called out of order 3 times, guess where we were sent?
Is there like a penalty box?
Not to the Confederate dungeon, but a penalty box, yeah. So it never happened. But that was part of our rules package. And it's just like when you're, the punitive hostility like that towards the other party, it doesn't create space for, the work that I want to do across the aisle. So.
Yeah. Well, as you know, a lot of people are like, she's so empathetic. The whole thing with drag racing, you guys have very upset with you in drag racing. Right, like, so if you kill somebody just driving down the street, stupid, you should be in trouble for that.
Yeah.
But if you and your, kids drag race, people, I understand where you're going with this. We've overreached in some areas, and it does get frustrating. This is what I mean. I like having conversations with people. I find it that we need more of this. We don't have it. People are afraid. People are afraid to have a conversation with, we were talking yesterday about Reagan. Reagan and Tip O'Neill, they sat down and talked at 5:00. We're friends. What can we do? What can we do to get stuff done? And I loved Reagan's old saying, imagine what we could do if nobody cared who got the credit.
Yeah, and I think, the motivation this session was to undo our federal constitution. And that's just like that type of, transformative legislation is not something I can get behind and want to work towards. And so, if it was to fill every pothole by legalizing marijuana in the state of Tennessee, I would be all for it. I think the grocery tax is a great example. I had a bill to end the grocery tax by closing corporate loopholes, which we've discussed. The Republicans filed their own bill that wasn't paid for. And I have, legislators coming up to me asking, like, what would you be okay with? How would you want to get this done? And I'm willing to engage in that conversation. But it's going to take a long time, and it's going to take the other side also, wanting to work with us as well.
Well, it's crazy indeed. Afton, I appreciate you coming in.
Yeah.
You rock.
Did you want to answer the 2 questions?
Okay, so we got 2 questions, so throw them out there. Here's some questions about the real ID.
Yeah, I just wanted to make sure these were answered. So can you fly with your old ID while awaiting your real ID? If you have applied for your real ID but have not yet received it, your non-real ID driver's license is no longer sufficient, and TSA will not accept the temporary paper license. So I wanted to flag that. Also, we had a question about if you have a minor. Yeah. So children under the age of 18 do not need a real ID or any form of identification to fly domestically when traveling with an adult companion who still has an acceptable ID.
There you go. So real ID.
Well, real quickly then, if a juvenile is flying on their own and they're 16, they have to have a real ID?
No. If you have to be 18 is when the real ID, but you have to have, like, if you're flying on your own, you're under 16, you're still a minor. So your mom and dad are going to have to take you to the airport to help you get on the airplane.
That makes sense.
Proof of age, such as a birth certificate for children, especially lap infants or unaccompanied minors.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah. So when they're lap infants.
This is just way too convoluted for no reason.
What happened to just getting on the airplane? Right, that's gone away. Afton, appreciate you coming in. Thanks so much. You go and Bell's got some questions for you about how you can try to help him, but I think at this point in time, he's just going to get the passports. Just much.
Thanks so much for having me. Love being on the show.
I love it too. We had a lot of fun. This is the Chad Benson Show, Super Talk 99.7. Rough Greens, RUFFgreens.com. Vitamins, minerals, probiotics, omega-369, all the incredible things power-packed into a supplement that you give your dog on a daily basis. That's what I do with my dogs, and my dogs are happy. How about trying a free bag of Rough Greens and then put them to the test? 90-day challenge, 1 scoop a day. That's all you got to do to see a change in your dog. And over the next 90 days, you watch what happens with Rough Greens. Now, take the 90-day challenge, but get the first bag free. All you have to do is cover the cost of shipping. RUFFgreens.com/Chad. Roughgreens.com/Chad. Grab yourself a free bag of Rough Greens. You cover the cost of shipping and take the 90-day challenge. Roughgreens.com/Chad. Busy Bee Plumbing is ready to help you right now. Their spring sale is going on. Great opportunities for you to win a full deep clean of your house. But on top of that, what about those ducks? Are they, and I'm not talking about the quack quack, I'm talking about those things up there that maybe have a bunch of stuff in there. You need Busy Bee to come out, give it a once over and check it out. They've got great cleaning things. What about the pipes? Because remember, they do HVAC and plumbing. Get themselves out there and take care of that as well. So what are you waiting for, everybody? Call Busy Bee today. Become a Beehive member. Very famous indeed. 775-7833. So when things are going south and things aren't working right, whether it's your plumbing or your HVAC, they Busy Bee all the way over to you and take care of you because you've joined the Beehive Club and you're going to be first in line for that. Call them today. 775-7833. 775-7833. Or visit busybeehvac.com.
President Trump is warning countries to not buy oil from Iran. We got this story and more coming up at 2 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
I like having her on. You like having her on. It's like, why don't you get mad and put, what are we going to scream and yell at each other for?
Yeah, you're right. We should have just held her down and beat her up while she was here. That would have
been great. And the whole thing with drag racing. I mean, a lot of you are upset about it. Well, have you seen him take it? We're not talking about taking over the streets. That's a felony all over the place. I think that we do make, at times, things too ridiculous when it comes to, we overcharge in certain things. I mean, it's, what was it? You can indict a ham sandwich if you want to. Is that the world you want to live in? I mean, like I said, this is my libertarian in me. We're adults. We should be allowed to be adults.
I could indict a ham sandwich right now.
Oh, I could have too.
Oh, man, I wasn't hungry till you said that. Now I am.
Oh, lordy, lordy, lordy.
Mustard, not mayonnaise.
So,
amen.
Yes, and I just want to apologize. Apparently, she did say a bad word. She is one of our legislators, and the FCC can go after her. Trump will be
Sometimes
like,
people get impassioned.
I looked at her. I'm going to give her a hard pass. It's okay. So I was saying something she was apparently because her mom was mad that she said a bad word. So we're sorry about that. We apologize. If you were offended, that's sounds more like a you thing. Some people are offended at everything.
That's how them skippy potheads talk.
That is how they talk. There's crazy people. Crazy. And I was bummed about the pot for potholes because potholes suck.
Yes, they do.
Do we all agree on that? Can we all come to a conclusion? No, not if a Democrat says it.
I would rather have my front end wrecked than actually let somebody smoke a joint.
Yeah. Drag racing is not what I said, which is some people dressed up like girls running around really fast. Which is what I thought it was. It's not. It's not very. There's a show called Drag Race, right? RuPaul?
Yeah, it's RuPaul's show. Yeah.
That's a... See?
And they do dress like women and run around really fast.
Do they?
Yes.
They actually race?
Yeah, that's part of it. That's it.
Really?
Yeah, they dress up like cars, like women cars.
Female cars. It's like a VW Bug with a bra on it.
Oh, my goodness. So people are mad at you too, Belle, because you...
When are they not?
Well, you said yesterday they weren't going to be mad at you.
Right?
I
and
lied. Then you said something horrible about peanut butter and jelly sandwiches, and then everybody started to hate you. And then now today, it's because you were nice to Afton.
Yeah, if Ray, who is just about as conservative as you can get, if I wasn't licking her feet, I could have used the dump button.
No.
I don't think I was actually in the room because I do more than one thing around here.
So that's what he says. I didn't see Belle for quite a while. That's all I'm saying. Coming up, we're going to have another interview. We go from somebody uber progressive to somebody who's a little conservative. Jason Whitlock joins the program straight ahead. It is Chad Benson Show, Super Talk 99.7.
Two o'clock on the dot. I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. Everyone in Middle Tennessee, we are under a level 2 out of 5 risk for severe weather today. Looks like the main threats are going to be damaging wind and hail, but cannot rule out a tornado. Tell you about it during the full forecast in 5 minutes. Also, drivers, right now, bridge work has the left 2 lanes blocked if you're Briley Parkway eastbound on the Duke Fuqua Memorial Bridge. And 40 eastbound near Briley Parkway East, exit 215, a crash over there on the left shoulder. Also in Nashville today, dozens of protesters outside where Mayor Freddie O'Connell presented his budget at the 62nd Annual State of Metro Address. That includes a combined property tax rate the mayor's office says is lower than that of 2021 to 2025, but not everyone will benefit. Here's Channel 4's Dryden Quigley.
The mayor did talk about this, saying that even as we're setting the lowest overall property tax rate in Nashville since 1972, some Nashvillians will pay more in property taxes. He also said that the low rate helps, but it won't totally offset the market realities of the past 5 years, which is the last time the tax rate was increased.
In Washington, D.C.,
The people united shall never be defeated.
workers from all backgrounds coming together for International Workers' Day, demanding justice, fair treatment, and protection for all workers. And then they chose to spotlight the case of Kilmar Abrego Garcia, the Salvadoran arrested in Maryland and deported in March, having alleged ties to the MS-13 gang. President Trump busy on Truth Social today. He basically told countries that if they buy any oil from Iran, they will not be allowed to do business with the U.S. President Trump also announcing he is nominating Mike Walz to be the next United States ambassador to the United Nations, and that Secretary of State Marco Rubio will be doing double duty and serving as the national security advisor, too. There was no mention about that Signal app conversation between top Trump administration officials about bombing Houthis that somehow included a reporter. And a Trump-appointed federal judge in Texas has ruled the administration cannot rely on that centuries-old wartime authority to send alleged gang members out of the country without a hearing.
It's a repudiation of the White House's legal strategy. Judge Fernando Rodriguez says the president cannot summarily declare that an invasion has occurred to rely on the use of the Alien Enemies Act. Appointed by President Trump and confirmed in 2018, Rodriguez points to the dictionary definition and historic meaning of the word invasion and finds the president hasn't shown how the Tren de Aragua gang aims to conquer the country or assume control over a portion of it.
Stephen Portnoy there. And the latest news. Weather's next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News.
It's our song at the top of the hour that makes some people very uncomfortable because AC/DC's fun. Jason Whitlock in studio. What's happening, man?
What's up, Chad? You know, I'm coming on 99.7 so much that
we're gonna have to get
I may have to ask for a contract of some kind. But do you know, is your audience, do they like me? Do they love me? Do they hate me? Am I too much? What's the response?
They like you. See, we just had Afton Bain on. She is she's a progressive Democrat. She's a lot of fun.
Oh, that was the left. That was the left
yeah. She's great. It makes a lot of people mad.
Oh,
but you know they're mad at a lot of stuff. They like you. They like you because you speak their language. Which you got the conservative talk, talking about the good stuff. You got Tucker and everybody coming out for a big thing tomorrow. You ready for this?
I am. I'm getting ready. I went to bed very late last night, but I'm planning to go to bed very early tonight so that I'm all refreshed and charged up for Friday night at 3rd and Lindsley. It's going to be amazing. And then Saturday at Rocketown.
So I was going to say, it's game time this is the night. You got the jitters. You excited?
Not nervous at all.
No?
I'm excited, but not nervous at all. This is, this is a regular season game. I wouldn't call this the Super Bowl. It's a high level, awesome regular season game. And for people that have the opportunity to come and hear me talk to Tucker Carlson, hear Randy Houser play music, hear Steve Byrne crack jokes, it'll be the Super Bowl for people that come. But for me, I've played in so many Super Bowls, it's kind of old hat. I want your audience. I'm very humble. I'm just in character right now.
He's in character.
Chad has baited me into being arrogant.
I don't want to do that, but sometimes it happens. We had a big talk yesterday. He got me in trouble with a lot of people over the movie Sinners, which is...
They didn't like that?
No, some of them are like, I didn't see it, but how's it, if you guys don't know, it's a vampire movie that's out right now that I didn't even know was a vampire movie based on the trailers until a little bit later. What'd you say? It's the most racist movie since
It's the most nakedly racist movie I've ever seen in my life. It's more racist than Birth of a Nation, which was out in 1915. It's a racist movie. And for people that missed it, they tried to make it impossible for you to miss. It's a vampire movie that at the end, basically from out of nowhere, Michael B. Jordan's character, after fighting vampires all night and all into the morning, he then, at the very end of the movie, for no real reason, ambushes 20 to 30 KKK members who weren't wearing hoods, who showed up at the building, and he ambushes and kills them. And that's the last little, just at the very end, last little 3-5 minutes of the movie. Just in case you missed that we were telling you white people are the devil, here they are one last time. The KKK shows up, and our hero, Michael B. Jordan, slays them with a machine gun.
All right, Jason, you want to know how people sound? Whitlock is the man. We love Jason. We hate you, Chad, but we love Jason. That's fine. I'm good with that. I'm fine with that. Whitlock's talking football. I like that. Which is good because of the Super Bowl, because obviously.
Yeah.
So let's start tomorrow. Big thing. You got this thing coming on. You got all these people. Tucker is Tucker in town? Is he in town yet?
Tucker will be here tomorrow.
Staying at your house? How's that working?
I'm not at liberty to disclose his location, but it is not at my house. So don't bring picket signs out to my house. Not that anybody but it's not at my house. But Tucker will be here tomorrow. And at 6 o'clock, doors are going to open at 3rd and Lindsley. And I would imagine Tucker will take the stage somewhere around 8, 9 o'clock.
So you guys having to sit down? Is that like a fireside chat kind of thing?
Fireside chat. This will be right after Randy Houser is going to delight us with music for about 45 minutes to an hour right before Tucker and I take the stage and have the most provocative, interesting conversation about American culture that you will ever hear. Before Randy Houser, Steve Byrne will do about 45 minutes of stand-up. It's a full night. If you need a date night for your spouse, your girlfriend, your significant other, there's no better place to be than 3rd and Lindsley. Listen, this is the best event. You get great music, great conversation from one of the most provocative voices in the culture space, in the punditry world, and you're going to get great stand-up from Steve Byrne. Who gives you that kind of package other than Super Talk 99.7 and Jason Whitlock? Who does that?
No, nobody, man. That's why you're here.
Yes. And so fearlessrollcall.com, by the way. You can still get tickets. fearlessrollcall.com. Use the promo code 997 for half off.
What's interesting is you can bring women, ladies, you're allowed to come. It's like one of those things. This is about strengthening men, and this is about men, but women play a part in that as well.
There's no there will be no strong married man without a strong woman having his back. And so Saturday during the day when we do the actual roll call event on Saturday, that's for men. But Friday night, I want men and women. I want couples there. I want single women can come, single men can come. And then Saturday night, we'll have a post-roll call party at Lee and Julie Beeman's house. The Duggar Band will perform. If you haven't heard their song, True Colors, it's amazing. It's patriotic. We're going to serve great food from Kokomo's Trading Company out in Franklin. But it's Friday night, Saturday night. This is for couples. This is for single people. This is for men and women. Saturday during the day, when we have the summit, that's just for men.
Give us a sneak peek about the summit, because, you're talking about like the other stuff, but like the summit side of things. Give us a little sneak peek.
Well, the point of the summit, and this is all serious, is too many of us are falling into the trap that the left wants us to fall into. They want us to pick our allies based on surface level things like skin color and sexual identity and those type of irrelevant things. I want us to choose our allies based on shared values, preferably Christian values, because that's what made America great and strong. And so during the day, there will be a series of speakers, myself, Alan Jackson from Murfreesboro's World Outreach Church, Anthony Walker, who has a church in Murfreesboro, Highway 231, E.W. Jackson, a national minister, will speak. Corey Brooks is coming in from Chicago. He runs one of the biggest churches in Chicago. It's right in the hood. It's in one of the most infamous neighborhoods in Chicago and in America. It's called O Block. He and about 100 of his guys are coming down from Chicago. Doug Wilson, great leader out in Moscow, Idaho. He's an expert on educating your kids in a Christian way. He'll be there. And so these are all people that I've met and come in contact with that share my biblical worldview and believe that the only way we're going to fix this country is if those of us that, believe Christ is our Lord and Savior, we have to come together as allies and throw off all these other identities. I want to rebrand Tennessee as the Harmony State, Tennessee Harmony. That's what we should do and will do better than every place else in the country. And so I'm inviting those of you men out there on Saturday to come join with us as we make this statement and we inspire each other and we realize that, it's those of us that are believers have to stand together and stand strong and defend each other. And quite frankly, part of my message is, particularly as a black man, is that we have to, as black men and as believers, we have to stand against this anti-white racism that is real and is pervasive in American culture. The same way in the 1920s, 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, we had to stand up against an anti-black racism that was pervasive in the country, we have to stand against this anti-white racism that's pervasive in this country. And the only way we're going to do that is if we put on the full armor of Christ and if we acknowledge that all truth comes from a biblical worldview and from the Bible, and that will move us past these divisive identities that have been pushed on us and promoted to promote racial division and promoted to promote this anti-white racism, which is really an attack on Western culture that was built on Christian values. This isn't, I'm not calling white people Jesus. That's not remotely what I'm arguing. I'm calling Christians in a biblical worldview. That has been the foundation of America's greatness, and they're attacking white men when their real target is Christian values. They define Christianity as the white man's religion. It is not. It is the ultimate religion. It is the church that God wanted, that Jesus wanted to establish. And so they're attacking. It's like I hate to use their words, but you have to. It's like the attack on white men is a dog whistle. The real attack is on Christian values and Western civilization.
Jason Whitlock in studio with us. As you talk about the Christian values and this, whenever I see all the things that I see now, I just saw something from Baltimore. I don't know if you've seen it. I'll send it to you guys. It's the most insane thing from COVID times when they were making these teachers go through all kinds of DEI stuff, including this one where this lady says, yes, women can have penises and testicles, which is the most insane thing. But then I realized this is just a business. These people have turned this into it's not black and white, it's green. If I can use racism to get, people talking and get money, that's what a lot of this stuff has become.
It's without question, like the whole Black Lives Matter deal. It wasn't about proving that Black Lives Matters. It was about how can I guilt trip people into giving me things, particularly money, particularly promotions on jobs, particularly creations of diversity, equity, and inclusion departments. It's a business strategy. It's a guilt trip strategy to remove merit from the equation and to remove God from the equation. That's why they demonize. If you said all lives matter, oh my God, you're racist. So the expression of a biblical worldview that all lives matter, oh, that's now a negative, that's racist. You have to be able to see through their scam, their brainwashing techniques, their cleverness. That's what we try to do at Roll Call every year. That's what I try to do on my show, Fearless with Jason Whitlock. And that's what we're trying to do this weekend. And I'm trying to alert people. Having a biblical worldview, standing for our values, doesn't mean you can't have fun. Doesn't mean you can't get together at 3rd and Lindsley, listen to some great music from Randy Houser, listen to me and Tucker Carlson have an awesome conversation, laugh at the jokes that Steve Byrne is cracking, have a cocktail or two, have something to eat, and have a great time. We need to be happy warriors. And so I'm trying to provide you with events Friday night, Saturday during the day, and Saturday night that are fun and are a reminder that you don't have to abandon all of your values to have fun in America. We can have a good time as believers in this society if we're willing to support the right things. And again, I'm trying to give you something to support. I'm trying to give you something that will make you feel that, hey, you're not out there alone. Your values are not evil and wicked. And we still can pursue the goal of a harmonious relationship across these surface level skin color differences. We can still do that. There are still people out there that want to do that. And I'm just, Chad, just quite frankly, I'm so committed to this. And I'm not saying this so I can get any credit because I'm a terrible human being. But I'm so committed to this that I'm going to lose money on Roll Call this weekend because we brought in the best and the brightest, and there's some expense to this. And I've put the prices for Roll Call at a point that makes it real easy for you to come. Real easy. FearlessRollCall.com, promo code 997, half off all the tickets. I'm going to lose money on this, but I believe in it so much, and I want us to have this experience so much. I'm so committed to branding Tennessee as the Harmony State that I'm not joking, and I don't want credit for this, but because I've been blessed financially, and God has allowed me to do some things, but me and some handful of friends of mine, we're basically footing the bill for you to have this amazing experience, and I want you there.
All right. Jason Whitlock, he's going to stick around with us. We're talking about Roll Call. We've got a bunch of other stuff. Talk a little sports, talk a little entertainment, talk a little culture. That's what we do here. Chad Benson Show, Super Talk 99.7. Bulwark Capital. I want you to talk to my buddy over there at Bulwark. He's the man. He is going to help you out when it comes to your investments. He does things in ways that others just don't. I trust him. My family goes to him. And he wants to give you a second opinion. That's where he goes through your portfolio, shows you the things that are going on, talks about things that are going on globally and how they can help you. And their number one thing is about lowering risk, lowering costs, lowering the volatility, giving the most upside potential. Everybody hears that, but they do it in ways that are just so much different because they do invest globally. They do look for opportunities, whether it's shorting the market in certain areas or going in and buying into other things. They just do it in a much different way, and that's what I love about them. So whether you're just getting into investing, whether you're near retirement, call my buddies over at Bulwark, get a free second opinion. What's it hurt? Have them take a look at what's going on in your account, and then they'll show you how they can build something specifically for you and your needs, because that's what it truly is about. 866-779-RISK. Talk to my buddy Zach Abraham, 866-779-RISK, or check out everything they do at knowyourriskradio.com, KNOW, yourriskradio.com. Investment advisory solutions offered through Trek Financial LLC, an SEC registered investment advisor. Investment involved risks, not a guarantee. Past performance, not guarantee future results. Trek 24173.
All right, drivers got the left two lanes blocked for some bridge work. Briley Parkway eastbound at the Duke Fuqua Memorial Bridge. Then we got a crash, left shoulder block 40 eastbound near Briley Parkway East. That's over by the airport. No new taxes protest in downtown Nashville. And a sushi restaurant in Nashville is under investigation by the health department. Details coming up at 2:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
That's what you get for eating fish. Don't eat fish is what I'm saying, kids.
Or listen to them.
Or listen. Yeah, don't listen to fish. That's a horrible man. Joining us in studio, Jason Whitlock. We were talking off air about Bill Belichick living right. So for those of you guys don't know, he's, what did we figure out yesterday? He was 73?
73. Are you a defender of Belichick?
Hey, you've got the money and somebody's willing to have fun with you. Let you live your life. You got 7 Super Bowls or 6 Super Bowls. You want to spend
got 8 if you count the 2 he got as a defensive coordinator.
That's right. So that's pretty good.
So, Mark, are you Chad, you're a libertarian?
Yeah, a little bit of a libertarian.
Yeah,
I mean, I'm not quite sure what the deal is with them. I mean, we know what the deal is. She's not there because his personality is fantastic.
Chad, do you watch very many TV shows? Do you like the Breaking Bads, The Wires, any of that?
You know what's funny? Matt and I talked about this. Matt, who's going to be out there tomorrow with you guys. If people tell me to watch a show, I can guarantee you I'm not going to watch it.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and I don't know why it is. I just don't. I've seen one episode of Breaking Bad. I've never seen The Wire, and I probably should see The Wire because it looks pretty good.
Yeah.
But it's just one of those things. But I like Westerns, man. I'm a weirdo. I like Westerns.
So you have probably watched Yellowstone then?
I've not seen Yellowstone, but I've seen 1883 and 1923. Yeah.
All right, well, anyway, there's a television show that's pretty popular. I won't tell you to watch it. You shouldn't watch it. It's a horrible show, Chad. Do not watch this show I'm about to tell you about. It's horrible. Rescue Me. I enjoyed it.
Oh, yeah, the one with Dennis Leary.
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, you've seen
That show's
that one.
brilliant.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, good. Oh, I didn't want to. I was trying to bait you into watching.
So, no, because you know why? It wasn't, the entire world wasn't talking about it, saying it's the greatest thing ever.
Yes, it was a great show.
It was a great show, yeah.
So you'll get the Bill Belichick. Now you got. I'm going to test your memory. And your producer, you've seen Rescue Me as well?
Yes, sir.
Okay, great. Lou Shea. Do you remember Lou Shea? Lieutenant Shea, Kenny Shea. He's in season 2, he gets hooked up with an escort named Candy. Candy runs a season-long scam on him that he ends up giving her basically his entire 401k. And he thinks she's all into him. She runs this scam. I got this boyfriend I got to get away from. And if I just had this much money, I could get away from. Lou gives up all his money in season 2. It's one of the great plot twists and deals ever in Rescue Me. And then Lou Shea turns around in season 5. Candy goes to jail somewhere in between season 2 and 5, and the storyline reappears, and she gets out of jail, and she preys on Lou again. Talks him into marrying her. They're going to combine bank accounts. She rips him off again in season 5. Bill Belichick is Lou Shea. This woman has $8 million in real estate deals since 2020.
Good for her.
She was a cheerleader, Chad.
Hey, listen, I'm going to tell you guys this right now. If you are in that position where you're 73, you've got a fat contract, you're not married, and you want to run around with a 23-year-old hottie, and is that what she is? She's like 23?
24.
Oh, okay, settle down.
Look, they met in 2021. She's 20 years old, and he was 69. Come on, Chad. That ain't right.
We know why that they're together. Because she likes bling, and he's got all kinds of rings, baby.
No, it's clearly true love.
It is true love. What do you think they talk about?
Football.
She's like asking, do you think you should
I don't
want
to tell you what they're talking about.
Did you see on the beach when he tried to hold her up with his legs?
His feet, yeah. Belichick's making a fool of himself. Listen, here's what I'll say to the 73-year-old guys with a bunch of money that are single. There are 40-year-old women out here, grown women, that would love to be Jordan Hudson, who we're now calling, and for those of you who want to sound funny this weekend with your friends while you're enjoying roll call events, we're calling Jordan Hudson Air Jordan. Error Jordan. Jordan.
Like error message.
Yes. Air Jordan, Michael Jordan. Basically, she's Error Jordan. He's making a huge error here. She's, and I mean this financially, she's sucking him dry.
You know what? We're not done with this conversation. We're going to take a break. When we come back, we're going to pick this up on the other side because this is an important conversation, especially for some of you out there who are maybe doing well and you're single, right? You're looking around and you realize, hey, you know what? Maybe I should take a run at it. Got the lady up the street, thinks I'm quite handsome, even though she's 22. So Jason's going to give you some more dating advice straight ahead. It is the Chad Bench Show, Super Talk 997.
2:30 on the dot. I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. Everybody in Middle Tennessee, we are under a level 2 out of 5 risk for severe weather today. We're talking about the main threats, damaging winds and hail, but you can't rule out a tornado. Got the details during the full forecast in 5 minutes. Right now in Nashville, the Tennessean says the Metro Public Health Department's investigating a restaurant following reports of food poisoning. The Sushi Train restaurant on White Bridge Road. Officials claim they found 18 violations during recent inspections. As for diners, they complained about rapid onset of food poisoning symptoms on the online platform iwaspoisoned.com. Tennessean says the Public Health Microbiology Foundation claims to have identified Staphylococcus aureus food poisoning that can make someone sick within 30 minutes to 8 hours of eating. Also in Nashville today, dozens of protesters outside where Mayor Freddie O'Connell presented his budget at the 62nd annual State of Metro address. That budget includes a combined property tax rate, which the mayor's office says is lower than that of 2021 to 2025, but Not everyone's going to benefit. Taxes are going to go up. And in Washington, D.C.,
The people united.
workers from all backgrounds coming together for International Workers' Day, demanding justice, fair treatment, and protection for all workers. Elsewhere in our nation's capital, President Trump posting to Truth Social, any country that buys oil from Iran will not be allowed to do business with the U.S. What else, Karen Travers?
President Trump announcing on social media that Mike Walz is no longer his national security advisor, and he will now be nominating him to serve as U.S. ambassador to the United Nations. The move comes as President Trump has been increasingly frustrated by Walz after Walz came under intense scrutiny for inadvertently adding a reporter to a Signal group chat. Walz needs Senate confirmation to serve as UN ambassador. President Trump said in the interim, Secretary of State Marco Rubio will add national security advisor to his portfolio. Karen Travers, ABC News, Washington.
That's the latest news. Weather's next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News.
Retirement Ready Toolkit for our buddies over at Beacon. Getting close to retirement, you're worried about all the stuff that goes with retirement. That's not just about the X's and O's, the dollars and cents. What about taxes, estate planning, healthcare? That's why Beacon is committed to being your full-service investment advisor, especially when it comes to retirement planning. It's great. Go over and see them. They're local. You call 615-488-9303. First thing they can do is get you out a Retirement Ready Toolkit. You're going to get a Money Enough for Life book, a retirement planning checklist, maximizing retirement income white paper, and then talk about all the other things they do besides just, like I said, the X's and O's, dollars and cents, because there is so much more that goes to it, and people don't really realize that. And the other thing is, too, you don't want to run out of money in your retirement. That's not a good thing. Call them today. Sit down and talk with them, 615-488-9303. Get that free Money Enough for Life book, retirement planning checklist, and all the other good stuff that comes with it. No cost, no obligation, and no pressure from our friends at Beacon. 615-488-9303 or online at AskBeaconNow.com. Raycon's best earbuds around. You'll love the everyday earbuds from Raycon. I love them. Hell, Belle loves them as well. Got him a new pair coming because somebody tried to steal his pair. I don't know what that was all about. They are the best earbuds around. Fit, feel, comfort, second to none, sound quality. Mom's going to love them because they got active noise cancellation. What does that mean? When mom needs silence, that's what she gets. 8 hours of talk time, 32 hours of battery life, 30-day happiness guarantee. And when I talk about some of the other stuff, like the features I love, which is multi-connectivity, which is so you can connect to 2 devices at once, but the fast charging feature, 10 minutes, 90 minutes of listening time. That's how awesome that is. If you want the best earbuds around, you must save 20%. Tons of great colors to choose from so you can match your mom's best outfits and win Mother's Day. It is the Everyday Earbuds from Raycon. Go to buyraycon.com/Chad. Save 20% and get a 30-day happiness guarantee with the best earbuds around. Buyraycon.com/Chad. Buyraycon.com/Chad. All right, Jason Whitlock in studio. A lot of people liked your joke about the whole thing with Bill Belichick. So Bill Belichick, for those of you who don't know, in the prime of his life, dating a youngster that's become so it really picked up steam over the weekend because there was an interview on CBS that went kind of sideways. And
you know what my dad used to tell me, Chad, long time ago? Because Bill Belichick put out a statement talking about we have a personal and a professional relationship. And my dad told me this long. My dad owned a bar in the inner city of Indianapolis throughout most of my childhood. And he had several beautiful barmaids. And my dad and parents divorced when I was like 5 years old. My dad was a ladies' man, good-looking guy. And so he had this barmaid, Debbie, beautiful. And so when I got older, I'm in college or whatever, Debbie's working for him. And I said, Daddy, you tapping that, ain't you? You tapping that. And he goes, No, I'm not. And he goes, you know why? Because once you start sleeping with them, they no longer work for you. You work for them. And that's how Belichick looked during that CBS interview. He thinks he's in control and he's having all this fun, but he's allowed this woman into his work and professional life. He's put her front and center out here. He now works for her. He's 73 years old, and he's working for a 24-year-old woman. That's a mistake.
It's his money, though. That's what she wants. You know what? Hey, you're old. How much longer has he got? I mean, and all of his players
with
are going to
Viagra, he's probably got another good 10 years
There you
in
go. There you go. Look at that.
And
or
there's
not.
a 40-year-old, 45-year-old, 50-year-old woman out here that would be perfect for 73-year-old Bill Belichick. I mean, seriously, can't there be some restraints? Does he have to date his granddaughter?
She wants to date him. I mean, isn't that? I understand what you're saying, but if you want to spend your money that way, knock yourself out. He's an odd bird indeed. There's no doubt about that. So you got your big thing. We just saw Matt. Matt's going to be there tomorrow, so he's broadcasting live. So what time's everything kick off tomorrow?
Tomorrow, doors will open at 6 p.m. at 3rd and Lindsley, and the show will start at 7. Again, Tucker and I will hit the stage somewhere between 8 and 9, but before that, you'll have Randy Hauser. Before that, you'll have Steve Byrne. So a lot of entertainment, a lot of food, a lot of good drinks, a lot of good socializing, and I hope that, me cracking a couple of Belichick jokes here hasn't destroyed your image of me as a Christian, because trust me, I am. But this is going to be a good time for those of us that are Christian with conservative values. We can have fun, and we're going to have some Friday night, and then we're going to turn around Saturday and give God all the glory and inspire each other. And then Saturday night, we're going to have some more fun over at Lee and Julie Beeman's house, and the Duggar Band's going to perform, and we're going to serve you great food from Kokomo's Trading Company, and we're going to have some good cocktails for you to drink there, and we're going to celebrate a great weekend. This to me, and I've lived here in Nashville since August of 2020. This is the greatest event for Christian conservatives or just people that believe in traditional American values. It's the greatest event that they've had here in 5 years. It's a great opportunity, and it's priced at an incredible price. And if you use the promo code 997, it's even priced even better than that. Go to fearlessrollcall.com and come out and have some fun with us this weekend. It's going to be amazing.
Going to be amazing. What made you want to do this, man?
I feel like I've been put on this earth, and I say this sincerely, to promote racial harmony and to encourage men to live up to our responsibilities of leadership. But ever since I was a little kid, I had these visions of being someone like a Martin Luther King that was important in terms of bringing people together despite their surface level disagreements or differences as it relates to skin color. Now, as a kid, all I do was, Martin Luther King. I was born in 1967. Martin Luther King was killed in 1968. I just knew Martin Luther King as someone that promoted a Christian worldview, content of character over skin color, and that's what I wanted to do, or it came across my mind. And as I walked my neighborhood, they're like, hey, one day, Jason, you're going to be speaking to people about content of character, how much more we have in common than apart, as long as we embrace the right identity. And so we should be taking our identity in our country, in our language, and in our religious faith. That's where identity truly comes from. The Marxists and the leftists have given us identities that come from skin color, that comes from, hey, what gets you off sexually, to politics, left and right. I reject all those identities. My identity comes from my faith in Jesus Christ, the fact that I'm an American, and the fact that I speak English. You can go back thousands of years. That's where people's identities used to come from. It's only been here recently where, everybody is trying to identify themselves as, hey, I'm black, hey, I'm gay, hey, I'm bisexual, hey, I'm pansexual. All these other things that are allegedly our identities. No, our identity comes from our faith, our country, and our language. And I feel like I've been placed here on this planet and placed here in America to shout that as loudly as possible, because it's the only thing that will bring us together. It's the only thing that will help us understand, like, hey, why has this country gone to hell in a handbasket? It's because we've taken on the wrong identities. And once you do that, and once you start, diversity is our strength. Now, the next thing you know, there's some guy that can barely speak English that comes here from India that wants to impeach Donald Trump. Like, how did he become a lawmaker? Who voted for this? Like, and again, I don't want to.
Did you not think that was a parody? I thought that was a parody.
It felt like a parody.
The first thing I said is Jimmy Fallon is going to be in so much trouble.
But literally,
right? Like he is, and that's not Jimmy Fallon. If you guys haven't seen, I think he's from Michigan. And yeah, it looked like Jimmy Fallon with a wig.
It did. I agree. But the real joke is on us, because this man is a lawmaker. He was elected. We've this whole diversity myth that everyone has made us buy into, that diversity is our strength. Shared values have been our strength. And great values taken from the Bible had been our strength. As we move away from those shared values and those values that come from the Bible, you now have chaos in this country. You've got the destruction of family, which is the root cause of all the problems. When you look at these videos on social media of people behaving poorly in public, fighting with each other, being violent towards each other, and people want to point to race. Look at black people, they're out of control. When I see that, I see, those are the unfathered. If you've been unfathered, that is how you behave. And this destruction of family, they're trying to promote everywhere. And so I love to argue, like, black Americans, we're the lab rats for progressive politics and the liberal agenda, the liberal secular agenda. It's not working for us. It's actually destroying us. It's destroyed the family. Our kids are out of control. They have no emotional control. They act in an unfathered way. And they're trying to do this to the rest of American society, and we need to stand together and say, no, we're going the other direction. We're going to restore this country by restoring a biblical worldview, and we're going to restore the family, and these problems will dissipate. Because if we don't do that, we're going to continue to go deeper and deeper into racial conflict, and that's what they want.
Talking to Jason Whitlock, you got was it Corey Brooks coming in from Chicago?
Yes, Corey Brooks.
So he's in. I mean, he's in the hood.
Yes,
like Cabrini Green, like the super hood kind of thing.
Yes.
How does his message go? Because I'm sure his message, a lot of it has to do with fatherless homes. He's got all these kids in the hood, many of them who I'm sure, their dads are in jail, if their dads are even alive or around. And he's trying to get these kids off the streets and understand that there's a lot more to it.
He's doing amazing things in Chicago. And he's someone, again, right there in the inner city of Chicago, right? You can look up O Block. It's one of the most infamous places in Illinois, in Chicago, in America. And he has built a church and a following and has garnered the support of other like-minded people that he's got this thing called Project Hood, and they're building a community center, a massive, I think it's an $80 million community center right there in the hood in Chicago. And it's because he's been bold enough and he's taken the arrows, because Chicago is a very liberal place. And Corey has taken all the arrows that go along with that, being a black person that stands on biblical values, that stands on Christian values. He's taken all the arrows that come along with that and built a church and built a congregation that supports him and stands with him. And that's why I want to support him, beyond the fact that, Corey and I went to college together at Ball State University. It's kind of ironic and weird that, two guys, at Ball State in the late 1980s, two black guys turned out to be prominent Trump-supporting, MAGA-supporting people. Again, Corey spoke at the RNC this past at the Republican National Convention back in November or October, whenever it was. We laugh and giggle about that. Who knew when we were back at Ball State we'd be two guys that would take this type of stance and get reviled for it or get demonized for it? But it's just what we believe in. And when you look at the people that have rallied around Corey and what he's doing in Chicago, it's been a lot of evangelical conservatives. And they're not our enemies. And I'm trying to explain that to people. We're not enemies. We're believers in Christ. We're image bearers in Christ. And if we really want to look at who our enemies are, it's been the left. The left has talked us into ideas and solutions and a lifestyle that destroys us, period, end of story. And this whole, again, when Black Lives Matter has it on their website that one of their foundational beliefs is the destruction of the nuclear family, that's them telling you, hey, we're on a suicide mission and we want you to join us. Come drink this Marxist left-wing Kool-Aid and let's all go off to the jungle in Guyana and die. If I had to translate what they were saying by the destruction of the nuclear family, it's like, we're Jim Jones and we got some Kool-Aid for you. We'll call it a vaccine and you take it and we'll all die together.
Look at that. There we go. That's 2 days in a row we've had Jim Jones on our program. We're going to wrap it up straight ahead. Jason Whitlock with us. This is the Chad Benson Show, Super Talk 99.7. Jason Whitlock with us. Yeah, we talked about Stephen A. Smith yesterday. I was surprised. You're like, he didn't know anything about sports.
Did Chad just switch voices? Did he go to smooth FM radio
Smooth,
DJ?
baby. What's going on there?
Jason, he also didn't know that he was on General Hospital.
I didn't know Stephen A. was on General Hospital.
Is that right?
He's done 40 episodes.
Yeah, that's been going on for years. They've been working his acting skills to prepare him for what they're doing. You know, I started talking about him running for president two and a half years ago. I was long before everybody was like, this dude's running for president. Read his book. And long before anyone saw this. But yeah, what was the name of the black DJ on WKRP? He just went in
Venus Flytrap.
Venus Flytrap. You just went into your Venus Flytrap
I
voice.
love it. I wish I had that.
Do some of the listeners here think that Chad is black? Do they know he's a white guy?
What's happening?
Do they?
Ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah. He went full.
I thought Chad was a tall, skinny black man.
Yeah.
That's how I identify.
That's what he tells women.
Anyway. So, ladies, I'm no Bill Belichick. By the way, somebody said if Bill's got enough money, I'll date him, and I do believe that was a man that said that.
Probably Jason.
So
let me throw this out here. I'm sorry, Chad. Am I being annoying?
You're
right
never
now?
annoying, bro.
Yeah, I know I got too much energy, but let me just throw this out. I get what Belichick's doing. You know, being 57 myself and having money or whatever. I get the whole sugar baby deal. But there's got to be a 40-year-old sugar baby out there for him. He doesn't need a 24-year-old. And
if she was 35, would it be different?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. And so if there's any 35-year-old sugar babies out there, you can email Chad, and he'll forward that on to me. And
you'll get it to Belichick.
No, I will keep it for myself.
Oh, there you go. There you go. So Jason's ready. Hey, when you got your first big check, like what was your jam? What was your first big check? What was that like?
What was it like? Well, now you're making me. Let's talk. What's a big check? I'll say this: when I was 26, when you come from my background, so this is 1994, 95ish. Is the first time I started making six figures. I think I started making $150,000. And I was someone that entered the profession in 1990 thinking that success meant when I got to age 40, I'd be making $75,000 a year. And I thought I'd have life licked because I grew up very modest. In 1984, you know, my dad was broke. The IRS had got him for back taxes, and we were living in a 400-square-foot, one-bedroom apartment in the hood. I thought success was 40 years old, you make $78,000 a year. So when I started making $150,000, I thought that was a big deal. And then, you know, a couple years after that, you know, I'm probably making $500,000. And years later, you know, I'm making seven figures. And what it does is it
get you the honeys.
What it does, it'll fool you into thinking you don't need God. That's the problem. You start thinking you did something, and you don't realize that the world is rewarding you as a trap. And so, you know, your ego starts running amok, and you start making bad decisions. And again, that's where when you start thinking you're a God, and the real God starts placing blessings in front of your life, you don't actually recognize them. And so it's like, I should be married. God put two women in front of me that were great blessings. I loved them. I should have, but I was so arrogant and so full of myself, I took them for granted. And again, that's that whole God complex that comes along with having money and being an idiot and being removed from a biblical worldview. And so you want to avoid that. But, you know, I don't, financially, I receive blessings. And that's why basically I believe that it's easier for a camel to get through the eye of a needle than it will be for a rich man to get to heaven. And that's why, you know, I'm trying to die broke. You can't take it with you in a hearse. And so that's, again, why
That's all that Bill Belichick's trying to do. He's trying to die broke and happy.
Well, I don't have a Jordan Hudson that I'm blowing my money on. I'm blowing it on roll call. So I want you guys to come with me and experience roll call. Go to fearlessrollcall.com fearlessrollcall.com, promo code 997 for 50% off. Join us on Saturday. Join us on Saturday night. Join us tomorrow. fearlessrollcall.com.
It's going to be awesome out there. And so Matt's going to be out there tomorrow. doing his show from out there, and that's going to be pretty cool. So, and you guys are going to all sit down, and hopefully he'll have some people to talk to, because Jason's hosted enough of our shows over the last couple of months.
It really has. That, I hope I haven't annoyed your audience. I hope your audience likes me. Today, I probably showed off a bit more of my sense of humor than I have on previous shows.
Yeah.
But
we
I
have
hope
fun.
that doesn't. I hope that doesn't offend your audience or someone think that I'm a backsliding Christian. I just like to laugh. I like to have fun.
It's okay. Well, let me tell you something. If you can't have fun, that's what's going to keep the younger generation from Christianity. It's like if you're the religion of no, people are going to say bye. And if you want to expand that tent, guess what? Christians can have fun. Kick some butt, have some fun.
Thank you, Chad.
Jason Whitlock there. If you guys have a chance, go check it out. Rollcall.com, code 997. FearlessRollCall.com, 997.
Yes.
Use that code. Get in. You have a good one, everybody. Matt, straight ahead.